Yes, yes. What is up, beautiful people? Welcome to How to Trade, formerly known as the Midday Show. That in the navy blue is your girl, Adara, and I'm Sharif. And we already have Market Sniper in the chat. Welcome, Market Sniper. Easy Trader. We got Charon, Tej, Mateus, Lane, Luke Parent. People coming in a little bit quicker today. I like that. Trader Revolution, J-Lo. What's up? Oscar Plays, Odyssey Fight, Stupid Bitcoin, Mr. Long Shorts. We also have Malcolm Aldridge, one of the OGs. Michael Lloyd. What's up, big Michael Lloyd? We got the Pawns. We got the Fawns. Anthony Kerr, Day Trader Cut. And he's chasing those bands. What's up to Chase Bands? Asta, Caleb, Bonita Applebottom. I like that. Okay.
That's a reference to, oh my gosh, the Tribe Called Quest. You got to put me on.
Oh, wow. I love how you knew what Tribe Called Quest and I didn't. So
I love a Tribe Called Quest.
I love Tribe Called Quest. You
them.
just don't know that song. What is up, everybody in the chat? Good morning, Adara.
Good morning. How are you?
I'm all right. I'm all right. We're looking at these here markets. A lot of action to the high side and the downside. Some good futures moves there.
Well, sounds like you're going to be breaking some arms in a bit there as well with your arm shorts.
Okay, okay.
Like some arms could get broken. I'm involved in a chip short right now. I have feelings about it. And I want to explain the life choices that led me here because I'm going to be honest, I don't know how. I'm going to make this face. So I wanted, okay, we're getting out of this. There we go. We already know how I felt about that because I'm already getting out. But basically the plan for this was I want to see what we did at 40s. We got into 40s. And bye-bye, Soxal. Please let me Sox leave. I wanted to get long this initially. Okay, first I like this short. We have to go back a couple steps. Okay, Soxal, come on, ma'am. First I liked this. Initially, I liked the short here. I wanted this rejection. We were rejecting a couple times. Tried to get short. Didn't work. Then I tried to get long off this little base here that we had. That didn't work as well. Then I noticed we get into 40, 30s, and we slow down a little bit. I said, Adara, this could be risky. This could be maybe a bit vengeful of you. Could be a bit of a revenge trade. But I wanted to try it. I tried it. It didn't work. I'm going to make this face because I shouldn't have done it in the first place, right? Like this was, I don't want to say mistake of epic proportions, but it wasn't a great choice of good proportions. It was a bad choice of some proportions. But you know what? I was just telling Sharif, I made a whole list of tickers I want to look at today. So I'm going to be looking through those, finding opportunities that do not make me have my eyebrows raised and go, So yeah, there we go.
Love it.
How are you doing? I know you're looking at ARM.
I am. So I'll just cover a couple of my trades that I had first. So we got a future trade on, and we also had an Apple trade on. So here's the future trade. This came in to a previous level of resistance. So on the actual NQ, that was around 18,210. And then so got short there, and we took a nice 20-penny winner on the TQQQs. But as you can see, it's making higher highs. So happy I covered that. Apple. This is the trade on the dead one, Apple. It was a VWAP retracement, and we just took the bounce off VWAP for a nice, what was that, another 20-penny winner, not too bad there. But alas, it is doing the sideways dance right now at the volume-weighted average price, not the trade that I wanted. Now, let's talk about the trade that the Katina man hooked me up with, which is ARM. This monster reported last night, and it was not well received by the markets, or at least analysts. I happen to think the report was decent, save and except for the guide. Make a long story short, now it is at a critical level. What is this level, you ask? Well, it is yesterday's closing price. So let's put that horizontal white line right here. So this exact area, $106.05 is where we closed out yesterday. You're not going to see me put a resting order at $106 at 5 cents, nor am I going to, just jump into it at the first sign of selling. This thing is a monster. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 green candles on the 5-minute chart in a row. It is at a critical level, so I'm aware of that. However, you're not going to see me just jump in front of strength like that. I need to see some complacency, some selling coming in. I was just talking to an individual by the name of George in the chat. Wisely, he told me, don't short ARM yet. It's a little too strong, and I happen to agree fully. So I had my alert out at the retracement into the yesterday's closing price. It did trigger, but the alert was not just to get in, it was to be made aware that it did reach that level, and then come what may, we'll see. Does it continue to pop up? I mean, we also have a consolidation top from yesterday off which we can get short. Have a look. So this is the best we could do yesterday, was $109.50. The wicks take you into almost 110, but both of these closing prints on the candle at 10:30 and the candle at 11. I'm looking at the half an hour chart here. This comes into 109.50. So if 106 or this general 106 area doesn't hold, I'll still be looking short on ARM into yesterday's high. In addition to that being yesterday's high, this 109.50, look at the previous days. That same level features yet again, that 109 and change almost into 110. So that's a that's a resistance level irrespective of earnings, irrespective of the close. It is a price action top. I will be interested in ARM at those levels if this 106 doesn't hold up and we continue pamping. You get
Just the casualness with which you said that.
Right? That's the move,
yeah,
right? Like if you're going to telegraph it, then it's not going to be as fun. Anyway, keeping an eye on 106, a topping tail candle coming in right now at the half an hour. So we're going to see how this one closes. I'm not going to wait for the half an hour candle to close, but I am keeping all the eyes, and I only have 2 of them, on ARM to see, I know, right? To see exactly what we get here, and then we could be persuaded to get in short. I expect some bamboozlement, though. Initially to get short and then watch it pop right back up. I mean, I do kind of expect that a little bit. We'll see what we get here. Future at day's highs as we speak. The first couple of red candles here are showing up on ARM, but as you can see, I mean, the dip buys below 106 just got bought up immediately. In 106.20 we go. So you don't have to be first to the party. You can get in and continue to watch the price develop until you see what you like. Yeah, sorry about that. Okay, I'll just send it to you for a second while I get the ad.
Yes. So I decided I'd like to order a short at Starbucks. Was this a mistake? I don't know. And I think probably yes. And I want to clarify because I think, it's kind of now we've had 2 questionable shorts in a row. It might be like a Dara give up the ghost girl. However, I want to explain why I did this because I did have a reason. And I still don't actively regret it yet. Am I a little bit wary of my life choice? Oh, sure. But do I actively regret it? No. Because look at these failed wicks into the top. Now you see a move at the top high of day like this, and it's like a Dara, why would you short the high of day? Well, you could think of it as we push even higher, or you could think of it as we don't want to go higher. This is a short opportunity. I think minimum we get into 75s or just above 75 I think that's an option. And I do like this chop and short. I think we play it as a range potentially. And I say we, I mean me. But yeah, honestly, I know. And I want to shout out DJK because he said something in the chat that I really agree with. If you don't feel comfortable in the trade, just get out. I agree with that, but I think sometimes it's right now I am comfortable with this. I also just want to analyze my thought process, how do we get here? Do you know what I mean? It's like those movies that start at the end and it's the flashback to the beginning, why were we here? I want to explain how I got here, and how I got here was that I did like that failure to break the top. Could this move against me? Almost definitely. But am I happy I took it for reasons that I like and that I understand, even if the trend is a little bit against me and I am a little bit against myself here? Yeah, I mean, we have it. We're going to risk into that 2024s area, so right below high of day. I'm fine right now. I want to see that 75. I want all the coffee. And right now, I want to hear this ad read.
All right, we are brought to you by Blue Chew. Guys, do you remember the good old days when you were always ready to go? Well, those days do not have to be over. Blue Chew, guys, is an online service that delivers the same active ingredients as those Viagras, those Cialis, and even the Levitras, but in a convenient chewable tablet at a fraction of the cost. Sign up at BlueChew.com, consult with one of their licensed medical providers, and you'll receive your prescription discreetly delivered to your door within days. No awkward doctor visits, no waiting in line at the pharmacy. Blue Chew's tablets are made in the good old USA and shipped directly to you, and we've got a special deal for you. Try Blue Chew free when you use the promo code TraderTV at the checkout. Just pay that $5 for shipping. Visit BlueChew.com, promo code, you know it, TraderTV, and get that special deal. All right, I tried to get short on the ARM as it did break down nicely there below 106, but the shorts were not forthcoming. So now I've secured the shorts thanks to the Katina man, and now we are headed down off that 106 general area that we called. This level is yesterday's closing price. It's fighting with 105 right now. It did make its way up into the mid 106s, almost into 107s as I see it. They're 106.90, and then down we went into 105. Do we catch our breath at these levels? Do we catch a breather here? Are we going to V-shape Christmas tree retracement, as the Randy calls it, down at least, I don't know, VWAP's at 102. So, I mean, I'm trying to look for areas of support and resistance below the current area where we're trading at right now. And what I see is there are some implied balance highs there almost into 102.50. So I'm not even saying this is a short from here on in. As we find a little bit of support at 105, I'm going to pack my patience here and see if 105 gives way or whether we bounce off 105 to curl back and to test HOD at 106.90. So lots of things to keep an eye on here with respect to ARM. It has been very volatile, and that's what we want as intraday day traders. We're looking for that intraday volatility. Otherwise, we make no money. So I'm keeping my eye on ARM. I'll try to keep my eye on it while I'm doing the lesson du jour, because that is what's coming up right now, guys. We're talking about buying that dip. All week, we've been talking about IPOs, SPACs, and direct listings, new listings, as Adair and I call them. And today, we're going to talk specifically about buying the dip on that IPO new listing move. So you see a hot IPO or a SPAC, moon after the opening, then take a nosedive. Your pulse quickens. Is this the intraday dip you've been waiting for? Katina says, yes, it is. This lesson explores the fast-paced world of intraday buying the dip with IPOs, SPACs, and direct listings. So as we always do, we want to explain why we're talking about this trade. Why would you want to buy the dip? What's inherently positive about this? So exploiting volatility, right? When you have that new IPO, new listings are essentially volatile playgrounds. Dips can also be fleeting overreactions, offering quick entry and exit opportunities. That's why they're interesting to us, right? They dip and then they pop back up. But there are also aspects of momentum here that need to be identified. A strong opening can be followed by profit taking, right? Creating temporary dips before the price eventually regains that momentum and moves to the upside or the downside. We go both ways here in trading. Right? So example of dip buying, here's a nice little dip buy idea. So there is the dip number one. So you knew that it held up at support there. It clears all the way up. What is this? This is the SPX. Wow, look at the SPX's levels. You can tell this was a while ago. Eh? Yeah. And then it comes right back down, Adara, right into that key area of support. So that's a beak, that's not a beak, whatever, that's getting involved in it right there. And likewise with dip number three, with this 3193 area having been an area of support on the SPX, I guess, a while back. So is it a dip or a disaster here, guys? So before diving in, differentiate between buying opportunities and a sinking ship, because they're not one and the same, but they could look like one and the same. So keep your eye on the short-term catalyst. Did a news headline trigger the dip? Was there something that came in after the IPO or the SPAC or the direct listing got released that pushed the price down? Is it likely to be a short-term blip if that's the case, or a sign of deeper issues? So you got to be looking at the trading screen and also at your news blotter. And also, obviously, have your technical indicators up there. Are moving averages suggesting a potential trend reversal or simply a healthy pullback within an uptrend? So for one thing, you can ask yourselves, are the short-term moving averages like the 10 and the 20, are they pointing down or are they pointing up? Did you get a death cross from one of them below the other? So that's what you're looking for there. You're looking for the technicals to show you whether or not this is a short-term blip or a prolonged retracement. And you also got to have your eye on the book and the tape. Is there a surge in sell orders pushing the price down, or is it a balanced flow? So especially, I want to make this point here with IPOs. When you don't have that many established levels of price action on the chart, the book becomes really important, because that's where you see the key areas of support and resistance that may not have manifested yet in the price action and on the chart. So keep that in mind. And here, this is another great example of a dip buy fakeouts. So you buy the dip thinking this is a key area of support. No, it was not, because it continued to print lower lows and lower highs. Look for the technicals, keep your eye on the book, and keep your eye on your news blotter to make sure that you're apprised of the latest data. So the dip. we're going to talk about the step-by-step entry and exit to buying the dip on these IPOs. So number one, your pre-market prep. Can't be more important than that. Obe comes in super early. Josh comes in super early. They're here to do technicals. They're here to look at the charts. Where are those key areas of support and resistance? So identify the potential IPOs or SPACs or DLs with high pre-market interest. There has to be high interest there in the pre-market for it to be chartable. And Adara makes the watch list every day, and the things that make the watch list are the things that are doing volume in the morning. So volume, key important aspect to keep your eye on the pre-market. Research the company and have a watch list ready with the SPACs, the IPOs, or the DLs that you want to trade on that day. And then watch it and spot the dip, right? Monitor the opening price action. Look for sharp decline with increasing selling volume, but not a complete meltdown. So you're gonna say, well, how do I know that it's not a meltdown? Well, if there's a price action support level that it breaks down below that it hasn't done before, that could be a key warning. Your indicators could be, your technical indicators could be another warning, like the short-term moving averages pointing down or getting some sort of death cross from the 10 down into the 20. Look for whatever signs help you discern what the stock is doing. You're going to have to play with them if you're obviously not familiar with them. And your support and resistance, super important as well. If the price dips near a previously established support level, like a historical buying zone, it might be a good entry point. So keep your eye out on support and resistance if they have already been established. Otherwise, going to be a tough move there. And confirmation signals. Look for technical indicators like the bullish RSI price divergence. So does the price keep falling, but RSI starts to rise? That could signal a potential reversal. So let me show you exactly what I'm talking about here. So here is a chart with the price of ARM. So as we peaked on ARM, we went down in price, but so did the RSI. Now, sometimes that doesn't happen. Sometimes you make higher highs on the price, but lower highs on the RSI. And conversely, you make lower highs on the price and higher highs on RSI. So you're looking for price action, RSI divergence to keep an eye out on whether the selling on that dip has come to an end or not, right? And your quick entry and your exits. Intraday dips are good for quick scalps, right? Have a clear profit target like 2 or 3% for your beak wetters and a clear stop loss like 1 or 2% below your entry. And here are a couple of bonus tips. Size does matter when it comes to IPOs. Okay, keep your position size small for intraday dips. You might make multiple trades throughout the day, but you want to be around to be able to continue trading. And if you get blown out or shut down like you would be on the floor here, you can't continue to trade. So make sure your position sizing is sound here. And news flow is king, baby. Stay glued to real-time news to understand what might be driving the price action on the IPO, the SPAC, or the DL. Keep your eye on that. And discipline here is your edge. You always hear traders talk about edge. Discipline during IPO trades can be your edge. Stick to your trading plan, stick to your profit targets, stick to your stops so you don't get blown out so you can come tomorrow and trade. And remember, guys, intraday buying the dip is high risk. Trading IPOs, SPACs, newer SPACs, and newer DLs anyway is generally high risk. Volatility can be your friend or foe. Always prioritize risk management and have a clear trading plan before entering these type of trades. And as I say that, Adara, I see that ARM has continued to move down, and I'm a little disappointed about not being able to participate on that. So.
I'm sorry.
Oh, it's all good.
If it makes you feel any better, I just had some very questionable life choices being made. No, I'm joking. We're all good. So, decisions were made. Were they great? I want to talk about this. So I go down to Starbucks because I didn't feel comfortable in the trade anymore, and I stand by that. I stand by me trusting myself. Am I disappointed it ran without me? To the downside, oh, sure I am. But you got to brush that off your shoulders. Then we tried to do another caffeine name in Celsius. So initially, like the short in Celsius, right? Get out. I say we'll get out. We'll try the long if it breaks above 80s or 70s and bounces. It did. I got involved. And then now the long didn't work. Now it's a short. So now you might be like, Adara, why the heck would you get into short again? Well, I'll tell you. I initially liked the short idea. That was the initial plan, right? Look at that failed wick into 80s. To me, this is still a bearish look. So I said, you know what? I've been able to minimize the losses thus far. I think if you like it, you have to try it. The other trade I got involved in was Cheesecake Factory. This was an earnings play. I liked this dip below the VWAP and the 90 EMA. Like, they were not able to break above VWAP. I'm going to give this into about 3690s, and then I want to see what we do here. So this one has to go back on my side chart because it's not in my side chart right now. I need to monitor it. Celsius, I'm watching for 8380s because that was that failed level earlier. Worst case scenario, we get into 80s and reject. I just add and I play the range. I'm okay with that. But I just think as much as the trades today have been questionable, there's only room for me to go to the upside. I know the P&L can always go lower, but I think, you know, I'm not super proud of some of the decisions, but I'm also proud that I know what I'm looking for. I just need to stop dilly-dallying and make up my mind and commit to things. I still think the Celsius could be a short. I'm ready for it to manifest, and we're gonna hopefully get that caffeine to the downside that I desperately need. What are you looking at?
I'm looking at ARM still, Adara. I'm obsessed. You know, I want to say something else, that the Katina man always talks about conviction in his trades.
Yeah.
So I like the fact that you're sticking with this, by the way.
Thank you.
Because sometimes I find myself, you know, giving up too quickly on a stock, even though I had sound levels, but maybe not a great entry. So
that was my thing.
Shout out to you. I hope you print on that, and I hope you kill it. We'll keep eyes on that Celsius trade with Adara. Shout out there. All right. Let's get, look, I've got a short setup here on ARM, call me crazy, but I'm gonna try to get in here, weasel my way on ARM. The Katina man thought he got me shorts initially, but he actually got them for himself. So I wasn't able to short up here at the 106 breakdown. So I was a little late to the party, and it looks like the party may be going without me here because I put a 104.55 retracement to get a better price, and there it goes down from below 104. So it's running without me here to the downside. I just said to myself, Sharif, you're not going to come into the show today and take trades that are not dip trades. Dip trades by far are my best performing trade, and so I'm going to stay insistent on this. I don't care. Alan San Sebastian, also trading stocks on earnings increased risk as well. Absolutely accurate on that, Alan. Because of the more volatile nature of the earnings, more people getting involved in it. It's, you know, being reported in the media. You have hedge funds that are digesting new information, buying and selling at that time. Sometimes market on open, sometimes market on closes. You're absolutely accurate on that. I do agree with you. What else we got here? Havana Woody. Give me a live example with SGD. Are you talking, is that an IPO?
It's not.
It's not?
Safe Green Development. It's a multi-day. Well, this is run in the past. It's not multi.
Okay, so I'm not sure what you're talking about, Havana. Let me know. Maybe you're talking about price RSI divergence. I'm not really 100% sure. Just let me know, man. Tag me again. Jeremy Newman, could you take a look at Sound, please? Sure, that's one we have.
Reporting tonight.
They are, eh?
Yeah.
Good. Well, there you go. So you'll know there's going to be volatility on tap for either the market close, the market recap show today with Adara and Sean, or tomorrow morning when everybody digests that new information. So let's have a look at SOUN. I'm just going to keep, what's it called, over here on my ARM, because I do have that short out, so I just want to see if it does get triggered. So this is the chart on SOUN. As you can see, it had that big boy move in Feb and onwards on the news catalyst that NVIDIA was taking a stake in the company, and this one got all the way into 1050. But as you can see, it's been lower highs and lower lows since that top that we put in on March 13th. Bit of a tougher look. You've got the crossover down below the, the 10 crossing below the 20 there. What else you got? You got a bit of a bounce off the 200 period moving average on the daily. Yeah, this one is in a bit of a downtrend. Are there any key areas of support? So this $5 area would have been interesting for me because it was an obvious trough there. So when we came back into it, I thought maybe we would have rejected 5 from that south side, but we didn't. So yeah, I don't really have a good read on this, to tell you the truth. Let's see the 4 hour here. See if there's anything on the 4 hour that we can see. Yeah, there's that $5 level again from back in March. Yeah, I don't really have a good read on this, to be quite honest with you. You know, I don't have a good read on this, so I hope I'm sorry I couldn't help, but yeah, we'll have to see how they do after earnings. What else we got there? Adam, shout out to Adam. Can you check KNE is trading tanking after last night? All right, let's have a look at Kane. I don't even know what this is.
Me neither.
Hey. Oh, bro, he's talking about Harry Kane, man. I'm an idiot. Yes, because Bayern Munich got eliminated yesterday, and I could not be more pleased. What a hell of a match that was, though.
Really?
Madrid came back late to win. Adam, you had me there. I didn't know that's what you were doing, but Harry Kane is now out of the Champions League, and he ain't going to win the Bundesliga, that's for sure. So it sucks to be him. And I got to tell you, as an Arsenal fan, I'm just pleased as dang punch. So that's the way it is there. What are you looking at over there, Adair?
Yeah, we just took a massive L in Celsius. We'll put the L in Celsius.
No.
It's all good. I'm not trading this name anymore today. I don't have a good read on it. And I added into the position because we were initially failing that 60s area. I was like, beautiful. Then it didn't work out. And this is, my biggest loss I've ever taken since going live on a stock is the Celsius. But you know what? I'm happy I was able to come and have it in front of everybody, because I think it's one thing having a loss on your own and being like, what are my life choices? You know, having your dark night of the soul or whatever, instead of just being in public and being like, hey, this happened. Am I proud of it? Not at all. Do I want to prove upon it? Yes, I do. This has not been the best week for me in terms of instincts, but that's why I'm trying to work on my instincts. And I'm happy with what I did with cake. Eating a small slice of cake here. Took some profit on the Cheesecake Factory. So I was happy with that. We took, how many cents did we take? Like, the math. I don't even know where. I think I got involved in 74s. Yeah, so we got I think 20 cents here. And I wanted to save a piece for the dream. The dream is going to be here around 36s. Is that a skosh ambitious? Oh, absolutely. But I do like that we have that chop and turn there. I think sometimes you have to be a bit ambitious. That's why I'm not going to cry myself to sleep over that Celsius move. And I also want to shout out something Neil said as well to me when I first started. He's like, sometimes you have to be taking those losses because you learn a lot from the losses. And that was something I initially was really scared to do. And I said this a lot. I think I let myself down a bit in my first week of trading live because I was very safe. I did well in the week, but it was because I took little to no risk, took little baby small positions, and I was just taking things to take them. Yet, that Celsius, was it like the trade of my life? Absolutely not. But you know what? I'm still happy I took it. Maybe we'll look at it later, but right now, I think out of sight, out of mind, in case I make some questionable life choices, because I like those trades. And with that in mind, I literally just typed it again, so I need to get that off the brain. This Starbucks, though, I think we could have this. I should have gotten involved in that dip. I think we could have that high of daybreak. Yeah, I did get out of the short earlier, but I think with regards to conviction, and I appreciate you mentioning that as well earlier, I didn't have a lot of conviction in this trade, and I didn't like what we were doing, so I got out. And even though I did miss out on an opportunity that ended up working out, you have to stick with what you're feeling, and if you're not comfortable in a trade, got to say bye sometimes if you're just not feeling in sync with it. So that's the look. I want to take a look at some of these other names on my watch. Someone was mentioning Roblox to me, so I want to take a look and see what Roblox is doing here. Oh, okay. Okay, so I have a couple conflicting thoughts on Roblox. One is that VWAP bounce. The other is we had a bit of a range here earlier at that 31 area, but we do have slightly lower highs. Right now we're ducking below the 90 MA. I think Roblox deserves a spot on the side chart so I can keep tabs on it, but I don't know what direction I want to go in this yet, so I have no comments. However, if we get back to that 31 and reject again, then it becomes a range, and someone immediately becomes very interested. So shout out to that. Real trading begins at the end of your comfort zone, says Quantran. I love that. I appreciate you saying that. I think that's something I'm trying to work on for sure as well.
All right, let's have a look at some of these comments over here. Kevy82, hoping Dortmund can somehow pull it out in the final. Can't stand Madrid. I don't have a problem with Madrid. I'm agnostic on both teams anyway. I want to see Marco Reus, I guess, play in the final because he's leaving. So I guess that's kind of maybe the only bias I have towards Dortmund. Enzo, Alex Enzo. What do we got? Had a great short today on DUOL, Duolingo. I'm thinking of 210 puts for a few months out. What do you think? Let's have a look. DUOL. By the way, I'm short arm, and my stop is going to be 104.44. So if it breaks that, then it breaks it. So come what may. All right, so this is the look here. Had a great short today. I think you have 210 puts. Well, hold on. What's the current price action right now? We're at 205. So why would you want to put into 210? Tell me what you're thinking with this, because I see the big sell-off, obviously, on the earnings play over here. That was yesterday, I guess, in the aftermarket, Adair. Did Duolingo report in the aftermarket yesterday?
Yes, they did. Yeah. But it wasn't one that we kept eyes on.
Yeah, well, it's not really popular, to be honest with you. Yeah, it's tanking now, and for whatever reason, my chart is freezing. So I'm not sure what happened over here. But yeah, I got to tell you, it's not well traded, and I'm stopped out, sadly, of ARM, so that will be a loser there. I'm really disappointed in the fact that I didn't, get in short earlier on this, but that's not really, it was kind of my fault. But anyway, we'll keep tabs on ARM. I could still be persuaded to get into this. Duolingo looks like a decent recovery off that 192.22 bottom. Got into, I believe the IB high today is 208.98, but I don't really have a look on that, to be honest with you. Pretty Panda, CGC approaching $10 and up 10% today. This ish can be traded every day, and I have it for the last 3 months. Let's pull up CGC. I haven't looked at that either, CGC today. Let's pull up this bad boy. Oh, are you kidding me? You're going to go down after stopping me out? You punk. No. Is it actually going down?
Yeah. Sleeves on you. No.
It's going down. I suck. Yeah. And I literally got top wick on that. I mean, come on. What was the, I need to know. What was the actual high on that candle? Where was that high? 47s. I had it at 44. So yeah, that's just the way it is. I would have printed on. Anyway, let's have a look at what's it called? CGC. Good look for CGC today. Nice bounces off the 50 so that I can see that immediately there. So initially it holds 50 quite well. I mean, even in the more volatile time of the day, the 50 did feature several times and then features nicely here at 1120. That was kind of the dip trade that looked the best on the 50. Anyway, keep your eye out for this 9.5 top over here because it was a key area of resistance earlier. Couldn't break through that 9.5. See if it comes down now off 960 to test 950 and hold up at that level. That'll be a good look. Keep your eye out on 9.5 for a possible dip trade. But as you said, this can be traded every day, and there's good liquidity on this too. So CGC and weed in general. I was telling Breno this morning, weed in general is having a decent day. Let's have a look at the weed names. Yes, they are all green on the day, Adara. All of them. Yeah. Well, I did it for you. Right? Right? Here we go. 12.87% for Grow Generations. Tilray up 2 1/3. Chronic up 10%. You have both the ETFs moving as well, MSOS and MSOX. They're both up 2 1/4 and 4 1/5, respectively. And then these ones are doing real good. ACB, Aurora Cannabis, Canadian company, and CGC, Canopy Growth, both up 6% plus on the day with decent volume on both these bad boys. So we'll keep eyes on weed. We've been keeping eyes on weed the last couple of days because of that, what's it called? The reclassification of that thing. So yeah, that's it.
I like that. Yeah, I want to say too, trade management is really important. I just looked at Celsius. I was like, let's see what it's doing. I didn't want to get back involved, but I was curious because I know you were saying what you did about ARM. I'm happy I got it where I did because right now we're up like about $1 from where I got out. So it's like things can move quickly. And that's why I always say I like to talk quickly because the markets move very quickly as well. Also, shout out to Justin Richardson. Thank you so much for this chat member for 6 months. Can you look at GS? It's been up, up, up. Let's take a look at GS and see what is going on with GS. So week on the day, Goldman Sachs, let's take a, not weak, but it's nice on the day. It's just volume is weak on the day. About 700, what is this, below 800,000 shares. This VWAP bounce, however, is a thing of beauty. This is textbook. This is gorgeous. Look at, I'm waxing poetic here, but I love this. We have that 450 candle, right? We wick into that 449.60, and then buyers like, go back to 450. Now, then again, we actually test on a closing basis that 449.60. Now in confluence with VWAP, that's a bounce. This is gorgeous. I'll take a look at the daily too, because I'm not sure if you're looking at the daily or the longer. This daily is amazing too. And I mean, look at, honestly, Goldman Sachs, this is one of like the cleanest charts I've ever seen in terms of an analysis point of view. Look at this resistance we have at 392. Look where we form support, 392. Then we come back up here into, I want to say around 417, a little bit of resistance. Look where we end up finding support. That's right, around the same area. I like this. This to me is a very strong chart. I think Goldman Sachs is looking pretty golden to me to the upside. And I honestly think the fact that we have that clear support at 390, now coming into 417, I think there are levels here for sure. Again, not advice, just my take on the chart and what a beautiful chart it is. I did my whole push back in the chair thing because this is a great look. This VWAP bounce is a nice look as well. Apparently Amazon, Amazon is blasting.
Camping, Adara.
Pamp Nation over there. Also, I got involved in Robinhood, so hopefully it's not going to steal. We're gonna take some. I was trying to make a steal from the rich, give to the poor pun, but I couldn't think of it at time. I like this. I like that we're bouncing off the 90 MA. I like that we've had higher highs, higher lows since that forming a base around 1770s here. If we break below, I was going to give this into like 80s. If we break below that 80s, 75 area, okay, actually, where is this base? This is what I was going to use. I had a plan in there. Oh, yeah, okay, 80s. Basically 83s. If we break below there, I'm out. I have enough that I can, like, you know, spread some shares, dip the beak a couple times here. So hopefully we're going to be Robinhood, take that shot with that bow and arrow, hopefully to the upside. And get some price targets. I think that worked better in my head, but that's okay. Also, yeah, this Cheesecake Factory short hasn't been a piece of cake, but it's certainly been fun. We are struggling a little bit at this level, and that's why I took out some profit there, right? So it's always kind of comforting when you see a level that might be an issue and it ends up being an issue because, you know, you feel a little bit good about yourself. Wish I had a few more shares here, but I don't want to add in all willy-nilly. If we come back into like the 60s area and reject, that's where I might add. But right now I'm happy with this. Like I said, we are being a little bit optimistic, and I really do want that smoke at 36.05. I do not think we'll get it, but that is going to be the ultimate price target area for me personally with my cake.
I like it. I'm short Tesla and Apple right now. Apple because it got into day's high, well, not into day's high, that general region of day's high, and Tesla because it came into the 10 period. And already printing on Tesla nicely here. There we go on TSLA, 20 pennies just like that. So we take that 10 period rejection on the 5 on TSLA and down it goes there. I want to get short at 80s, but I ended up getting 77s, which is fine. And then we got out the remaining amount there at 50s, and it's continuing to go. So it's about 20 pennies right now above LOD on TSLA. The more risque trade, though, is to try to get short on the dead one at high a day, and the dead one is Apple. And I just joke around about that, right? I'm invested in this name. I don't want anybody getting offended, right? The whole point of this is this, I don't know, possible triple top. I mean, you know, it's a little dangerous to short at the high day. I completely understand that, but I saw this double top here, and here we are working our way right back off the volume weighted average price into those levels. And I got to tell you, I really haven't known Apple as of late to be, you know, that propulsion kind of stock where it can just blow through a top like Nvidia or Tesla's or anything like that. So I'm looking to get short here. I have a planned DCA. As you can see, there's a purple line right there at the high of day, and then I'll give it like 5 or 6 pennies off that high of day to test 184, excuse me. I have my DCA at 85, so 183.85, which is very close to the high day. I did jump into this at 72s, despite the fact that I told myself dip trades only. But yeah, I have trouble understanding my own advice at times. So we're in AAPL. We're 5 pennies out of the money as we speak, but I am looking for rejection off the regional highs there on Apple. Look at Tesla go down into 172. I covered way too quickly here. This was a decent look at the 10 period. This is what I was looking at, guys. I just want to show you what I based the trade off. This solid green line, that's a 10 period. You've had multiple rejections off the 10 period on your way down on TSLA, and there it was. We got right into the 10 period after clearing it by some distance, and down we go, testing the whole dollar level right now at 172.02 LOD on TSLA. Keep your eye on this one. Sadly, it's been tough for the Cybertruck as of late, even after that nice pop that we had, like, what was it, last week or a couple weeks ago now?
A couple weeks ago,
yeah.
Time flies.
Yeah, time does fly, man. Holy cow. So, yeah, that is the look there, Adara. Going back to AAPL quick, back to break even on this monster, looking to wet my beak at 60s.
Yeah, that pop a couple weeks ago there on Tesla, I remember too, because like I said, I'm very fascinated by Tesla bull Twitter, and I've talked about this before. It's just a very entertaining place, and I know people were like they were like trolling the shorts over there. They're like, oh, like everyone was short Tesla and they lost this much, like with all those pops. So yeah, they were. It was a very exciting time to be on Tesla bull Twitter. Let me put it that way. They were very excited. But yeah, also right now in Robinhood, I am not that excited. I will say I added a little bit here because initially we had that beautiful bounce. I said I want to see what we do at this very clear level earlier. I swear, I like nade there at 1784. I like this. Like, but I did like that we had that wick down into there earlier. Then we also had a firm candle of support. So I did like the look. Like I said, I want to see what we do below 80s. But I did want to add, as much as that could have been a a decision. Right now, though, I am still happy with what I did with cake. Still happy I'm in cake, not getting out of cake yet, still eating some cake. The trades today have been rough. My only winning trade right now has been in Cheesecake Factory. We did take some L's earlier. But, as the great 21 Savage says, taking less L's, making more M's. Right now, we're not doing that. We're actually probably doing the opposite. But, you just got to keep going, got to keep pushing. Someone in the chat as well, I appreciate it, was saying that, they appreciate the positivity. And I mean, the thing is, too, it's like you can't. I find I'm always going to be in a better mood if I'm not like ruminating over things, right? I just, you got to keep it 100. Right now, though, we're going to get out of this Robinhood because we did fall a little bit lower. Maybe shouldn't have added in. So that's going to be a decision that I reflect on for sure. Okay,
you're leaving the hood?
I am leaving the hood. Got to get out of the hood there. Yeah, it was not all good in the hood on Robinhood, let me tell you. But you know what I'm still watching patiently with bated breath is my pal Roblox. Like I said, we're seeing what we do, and we actually got a lower high, so this could be a short. Like I said, I really wanted to see that 31 rejection, but I mean, hey, Roblox, if you're going to keep making lower highs, that's still something. I think we're going to have to get involved in this. We're going to keep eyes, but this is still something I want. Right now, cake coming back up a little bit here. Like I said, I want to see what we do at 60s. If we stay below and reject off this area, I'll add a little bit. If not, I'll just get out because I don't want to lose on this trade. But I am happy I was patient and waited because that's not usually something I do. Happy I took profit where it did. Only winning trade today. This has been, so far, my worst day of trading since going live. Going to be 100. But you know what? Things can always get better. So we're going to, absolutely, if you make commitments and if you recognize your mistakes, and boy, I haven't made a lot of mistakes today, but I had conviction, and I think that counts for something.
You should bring some slippers with you.
Oh,
you just look at me, you're like, what is this guy talking about, bro? Yeah, no, I'm kidding. Eh?
Oh,
Ram has some.
Ram just said, yeah. Ram
She's like, you can throw mine. I'm kidding.
Shout out to Remy.
Ram. Always coming in clutch, whether it's with coffee, the screen, slippers, whatever we need around here. Ram's got it. All right, I'm 12 pennies out of the money now on this Apple short. Apple seems to continue to have strength. It really hasn't broken HOD yet. It's at HOD as we speak. The market coming into 18.2, but true to form, Apple really hasn't been moving with these markets. Oftentimes, I got to say, I notice Apple kind of moving counter market. When the market's moving down, Apple moves up and vice versa. So we'll keep eyes on that. I still have my DCA that hasn't triggered. If that does trigger, we're going to get out on the break of 184. No ands, if, or buts about that. I'm looking for a top at this possible triple top, I guess, 183.86 right now is the triple top, or so it is at the moment. So we'll keep eyes on that. Apple's a breakout, says TX Trader. I mean, you're not wrong. If it was a different stock, I would be convinced, because usually ascending wedges, higher lows with a flat top usually means a breakout, but it may or may not happen on Apple. We'll take our chances with that one. The other things that we haven't talked about, these things called small cap gappers. We haven't discussed any today, and I forgot to actually put them on my chart, Ram, and here they are, baby. GTHX, this really good looking chart, and it's maintained its tradability, I guess you could call it, throughout the day. These small cap gappers have a very small, I guess, window that you can trade them in, especially relative to some of the other more stable stocks. These are around for a short time, not really a good time. This started moving at 9:30. It had that initial pump up from that 4.25 into about 440, but the volume did not really start coming in hard and heavy until around 10 o'clock. So it took some time for GTHX to show up. Higher lows are very obvious here. So these wicks, each successive wick higher than the previous, but that $6 area staring at you in the face, that is a flat top currently on GTHX. So we'll keep eyes on that for possible flat top breakout. You could possibly here be looking to get in at a better price. The volume weighted average price hanging out around 560, 558 or so. the range per candle, and you hear me talk a lot about this, very wide on GTHX. So you're going to have to account for that when putting your profit takers and your stop losses. Your stop losses can't be too close. Otherwise, you'll just get wicked out if there's a wide range per candle. So keep your eye on GTHX, looks good. There's another one though, MCRB. This is a holdout. This one tanked yesterday and now it's recovering. I have no idea what this company is. I'll give you deets on it in a second. MCRB is the ticker. So we'll put the ticker right there. Let me give you the deets super quick on this monster. 9.21 million shares traded, currently $156 million market cap, and the float a little bit larger, 142 million shares. You can see this one had a bit of a top here yesterday, currently where we're at. So we basically reclaimed the entire down move from yesterday's open. So we started tanking around 8:30, and then we traded sideways essentially all day with a very small range. This one actually broke sub $1, reclaimed $1 here. Possible dip trade off $1. That's where the 10 period is hanging out. If the dollar doesn't hold, VWAP's hanging at 95.5 pennies, and then there's price action support at 92 pennies. I'm kind of hesitant to trade anything sub $1. So just letting you guys know, MCRB doing things here, and it's not such a bad look. There's also NTBL, but this one has since broken below the volume weighted average price, and in my estimation of things is no longer tradable as a long. You'll have to look short on this one, at least with my style. Right now it does seem to be holding the 20 period, but south of VWAP. Let's put this one up, the ticker, just in case this one starts making move. NTBL, we'll put this bad boy on there. How are we doing this Apple trade? Let's look quickly. Ooh, okay, we're in the money now, baby. The market seems to be coming down below 18.2. Microsoft's headed down. The Amazonian as well. Goggles started curling down, as well as NVIDIA breaking into that 890 area. So we'll see if we can get some decent prints here on the dead one, Apple. But yeah, I still haven't triggered yet on my profit taker, nor, Adara, did I get the DCA. So I still have that same cost basis.
Yeah, I saw that Apple move down, and I was pleased as punch for you. Shout out to you. I mentioned I've been trading the range trades vicariously through Sharif on the Mag 7. So thank you for having that Panera for us. Appreciate it.
I'm just thank you for being on and teaching me how to range trade. Before you came on, I was punching at highs and getting stopped out every which way. So your presence has made me a better range trader, straight up.
Thank you, I appreciate that.
No problem.
And like honestly, I mean, I knew nothing before I came on here, so I always want to shout you out for that. And also in terms of playing support and resistance, and that's what I tried to do, tried and failed to do on this TQ trade, mind you. I want to clarify, we did fail. So I look at that previous day high, okay? This 58.70. I tried to get involved in this earlier because we already had this move up from that level. Didn't get in. C'est la vie, ran without me, boo-hoo, keep going, find another trade, right? But then I did. We bounced a little bit. See, look at the little wick up. I was like, ooh, another opportunity, another bite at the apple, metaphorically speaking, of course, because Sharif's actually biting the apple. I got involved at 58.70. I said we'll give it to 60s. We fought to stay above 60s. We did break a little bit below 60s, so I got out at 60s. Yeah, like I said, it's been a day. It's not been a great day trading-wise. I am very disappointed with the extent that I am down on the day right now. I'm gonna be really, really honest, but you just gotta keep pushing. Maybe after, we eat some grub at lunch, get some more caffeine ad nauseum, etc. I think there could be some more opportunities for some trading, and I'm really stoked to kind of turn that frown upsidicity. Shout out to Parks and Rec if anyone's seen that. But yeah, so I wanna keep making some opportunities. Roblox I still have eyes on, but Roblox is like really trying to make you work for it in terms of, is it continuing to go up, or are we looking to make a lower low at 30.70? I mean, Roblox, I'm good with either. If you want to reject at 30.70, I'll get short there. If you want to wait and reject at 31s, I'll get short there. Like, Roblox, I'm shorting you either way, girl. It's just a matter of time. Honestly, look at this is either a range or it's a lower high short. And either way, it's something I want to be a part of. Like, to me, it's one or the other. But I just want to know which one it is. So Roblox, holler at me, please. How is Apple going?
It's okay. I'm just really upset about ARM. I mean, goodness gracious. Look, it just touched 102, got in short 104. I had to get in on the retracement high, obviously, 104.50, and now we just touched 102. So that's really frustrating. Neil's killing it, bro.
That was good.
Neil's like, you really wrestled with that one. Adara's having a marked effect on everyone around her, like straight up.
Sean did it yesterday too.
Oh, wow. Okay, Ray-Bram, I'm not reading. I'm not saying that out loud.
That was a pretty good one.
But I did wet my beak. Get her, Neil. Get her.
Oh my God. Oh my
I did
God.
wet my beak on some profits on AAPL as it dipped into 60. So we'll keep tabs on this one. You know, 12 penny winner, nothing to really write home about, but we'll keep tabs on Apple. Now, a couple of other things. You know how I love to cover these Mag 7, so let's cover them. We're number one, we're getting in close to break even here on the future. So let's keep an eye out on this 18,187. Yes, 187, very ominous number there. Keep your eye on that level. That is the closing print on the NQ from yesterday. We could find some support there, and right below that is the 50. So the bit of a retracement now below 18.2 on the future, and that's pushed a lot of stuff down. I mean, look at Softy. Off the top there, about $1 and change off the top. The range on Softy has really been tightening up, and you can see that on the daily. Like, look at this super tight range. I even asked the OB, the Knob, the other day. I'm like, are you charting Softy? And yeah, he's like, I chart from the monthly onwards. And so that's a little wider than what I chart. I chart from the weekly onwards. But yeah, he like when you show the monthly, we're absolutely in a trend. I mean, the monthly just looks fantastic. But when you look at it on the daily, which I think is a little bit more relevant for day traders, a little bit sideways here between 420 and 400. Not even 400, 390 really. So the soft one, a bit rangy as of late. And I want to say that, even the range per day is getting a little tight. Now, Meta, we've been trading Meta decently past little while. It's bouncing off the 20 here. These bottoming tail candles kind of making me feel that there may be a buyer around 474 or thereabouts. You know, usually you get these candles either, like just as you can see here, you got them right at that area where we turn back. So usually there's a seller when you see these type of bottoming tail, topping tail candles. Meta, interesting move here to the 20. I wonder if this could curl up and start testing 475 again like Amazon is. So Amazon found its footing almost at the 10, and it's putting a couple of green candles right now. I wonder if Meta has that same look. So I'll keep eyes on that. I don't want to jump in too quickly onto Meta here, to be honest with you, just because it's a 20. So I'm going to pack my patience here and see what else is going on. What are you guys looking at? Junaid said NVIDIA is tanking. Let's have a look at NVDA. NVIDIA obviously down 1 2/3% on the day. There is definite area of support at 884, 883-ish area. We did come into the 50, rejected off the 50, and now I really don't know what the situation is. We don't really have price action support or any indicators at these levels. So NVIDIA, for me, at the moment, not tradable.
Yeah, we were looking at chips too, because I just saw NVIDIA and I said, how's our pal SOXL doing? Worth noting, SOXL is at a pretty key area of support right now. We're bouncing at that pre-market area, the bottom of that pre-market range, around 39.80s, we are bouncing. Also, this is funny to look at now. I guess I was a bit early on that short. If I'd taken that short a couple candles later, that would have been a nice trade. But you know what? Woulda, coulda, and its pal shoulda. Things happen, they don't always work out. You just gotta brush that off your shoulders, keep on moving, keep on rolling. That SOXL support, though, if this keeps holding up at 39.80, might be something to revisit. I'm not going to visit it right now, though. I am still looking at that Starbucks potential high day break. Initially, I had a short that would have been successful in there, but I wasn't feeling confident in the trade, so I got out. Now, though, look at these higher lows. To me, if that flat top break's going to happen, it's going to happen now. So I want to get involved.
Nice.
I initially wanted to get involved in 75.09s, didn't even come close to that. Looking for 75.11s, that still could be a bit too conservative, but I don't want to keep chasing this guy, right? As Neil once put in the chat, to the tune of the Dawson's Creek theme songs, I don't want to wait, I don't want to chase, because the move may be over, so I don't want to do that. I wasn't going to fully commit to singing that, but yeah, I just always found that really funny. Also, Roblox. Nothing funny about this Roblox. I'm really happy I took this short. I got involved. I was waxing poetic about Roblox for the last little while here, and I said, you know what, Adara, we had a pseudo double top here at 70s. You might not get your 31, but you can get 70s, and you can add at 31 if we come there. And Roblox is like, actually, I might just go straight to the downside if that's okay with you. And I'm like, you know what, Roblox, I'm involved, so that's fine by me. Pleased as punch. I think someone else there is pretty pleased as punch. He's fist pumping for ARM, maybe a pun very intended. So let's see, Roblox, I like that we broke below that 90 MA. This was that huge area I was worried about, this 54s, because as you can see here, we had a bit of support there earlier. If we keep breaking to the downside, if we keep breaking down those roadblocks in Roblox, I'm gonna be pleased as punch, and you know what? I am. Don't love that sent Starbucks a little bit to the downside, but as long as Starbucks keeps bouncing off 75s, I'm all good there. How are you doing?
I got revenge. I'm just going to call it a spade a spade. It's not avenge. It's absolute revenge. I hate ARM because it stopped me out initially and then tanked $2. So we just took 70 pennies quick there on the, no, not 7 pennies, 60 pennies quick on the bottom there on ARM, shorted on the pop into 60s and down it goes into 102. So I'm happy about that trade on ARM. It is still on the way down. You know, I don't see anything higher high related or higher low related. Everything is still down and to the right for now. So ARM, I guess, for the moment, still a short. Keep your eye on that $100 level. I would say to you, $100 is support and resistance most times of the week, okay? So keep your eye on that. The other trade we have is the dead one, Apple. You know, we wet our beak at 63s or whatever it was there. Now we're back into 68s. It's kind of rounding the top. It's not tanking in the way that the market went down. Apple seems to be a bit stronger than these Mag 7 names or the market in general. Having shorted at the top over here, it was just a play based on current area of resistance, which is this 183.85-ish area. So it's not coming off the top. If it keeps moving up and making newer highs, then we're gonna have to rethink this whole thing. ARM is not dead, Sam. ARM is great because you can trade ARM both long and short. That's the beauty of being a day trader. You can take it both ways. So as long as it's moving intraday, you can profit off it. So ARM, I think, is still an interesting look here. But you got to keep in mind that ARM is at VWAP now. So even though we've been trading ARM and I said I didn't see any higher highs or higher lows, anything to kind of deviate from the current trend of lower highs and lower lows, you put some respect on VWAP's name here. And there's also VWAP and the 200 period both on the 1 and the 5. What does the 5 show me the 200 period is? So we're well below the 200 period on the 5, but we are at VWAP. VWAP's the same on all your charts. So possible pump up here. Possible 102 general hold, volume weighted average price. We also have these institutional level, not even institutional, these are IB highs. So this IB high went into 102 and a third right at the open there. So that previous high could act as a level of support. Just, you know, talking out loud, making observations about what I see here on the chart. Keep your eye on VWAP, on ARM. This could be a long from here on in. I'm not saying it is, but I'm just saying keep your eye on the possibility. All right, down, go down, Apple, you punk. Head down. So I want to look to wet my beak on Apple at around 50, but there's also the volume weighted average price at 40s. 183.40 is where I see Apple at. Now, Apple has bounced off VWAP on the closing basis on every dip that it's made into it today. The only one that you could say really broke it was this candle over here at 10.55, but look where the closing print is, right above that volume weighted average price. So if you're looking for a beak wetter, a deep beak wetter on AAPL and you're short with me here in these high 183s, I'd say to you, that mid 40s area would be an interesting area to wet your beak and take some profits there. Here we go, into the 60s we go. Can we see some 50 prints here, Apple? Can we get some 50s? We're not getting 50s yet, but hopefully we'll get them soon. Anyway, AAPL, still near highs. There we go. Come down, Apple. There we go. Very pleased with this trade. There it is on this here trade. Down, Apple. I'm in a good mood.
Yeah, I can tell. And I
don't know why.
I'm so happy for you. I'm really happy for you. That's awesome. And, I think, too, it's because I know you were really disappointed about ARM because ARM did, it choked you a little bit there. Yeah, but right now, then you got the upper hand over ARM. I was really proud of that. But so this Starbucks, I got out, we got near 75s. I just realized, you know what? It's a little bit bamboozling when your initial very counter-trend idea was actually the right trade. You know what I mean? Like, you don't look at this Starbucks chart initially and think, hey, you should short this near high of day. That's what I thought, though. And I actually was right. and I spooked myself and got out because I didn't have confidence in it. Then I got involved in the long because I did like the long at the time, and I had to get out of that. So it's always interesting how the cookie crumbles or how the macchiato crumbles. I don't know. But I mean, if we keep rejecting 75.20, if we have lower highs, I'm still interested in this, but I don't have any plays in it right now. With that in mind, too, I want to talk about Roblox because I'm really proud of what I did with Roblox for a couple of reasons. So for one, I know I got out earlier, but I got out earlier because I trusted my instincts, and that's the thing I've not been doing lately. There were some bad moments today, and I talked about Celsius. I think there's one thing I have a conviction. I'm happy I had conviction. I'm honestly happy with what I did with it. Wait, I'm still in Starbucks. I did not realize that. Okay, we're gonna get out of the rest of Starbucks. That is funny. I thought I was out of this entirely, but that's cool. We're gonna get out of the Starbucks. That was a moment. That was a mistake, but it's all good. But yes, the reason I got out of Roblox is because I noticed, I was looking at the book, and I noticed as we got near 30s, we bounced back, and I said, you know what, Adara, you do not want any of this. This is not something you want to be a part of. Get out. I took my 22 pennies and I left. Best trade of the day by far. One of only 2 positive names for me. I'm going to be really honest. Today has been a massive L, but that's why I just want to keep going, keep pushing, keep working harder, and I'm so happy and so energized to be part of this huge community. Yeah, so Roblox now bouncing back up. I don't have any plays in this right now. Took what I wanted to take. Looks like instead of that range we had earlier, we're having these higher highs, higher lows. So that's cool. You know what, Roblox? If you want to give me that roadblock, I'll look at other things. Starbucks being top of mind here. Let's get a Mara. Let's see how Mara's doing, because I feel a little bit, you know, like we've broken Mara's heart a little bit here. Mara has earnings tonight. CleanSpark has earnings. I haven't looked at either. Look, this Mara is a great, I really like this look here. We had that 2022 area here, right, as resistance. Then we come back up to 2050. We come back to the downside. Look where we're wicking off of for resistance. This is textbook. This is gorgeous. Right now, anyway, I mean, earlier, now we're seeing a little bit of confused wicks here around that 9 EMA. But we're doing something interesting here on Mara, I think, at that 2020 area. I know some people were saying, too, like, Mara, you know, will it do its thing 21 with the $21 area at earnings? So it's just in time for making that punt a couple of days ago in the chat. I will say right now, Mara's got this gorgeous bounce off that 14 level. Shout out to Patrick, a.k.a. BPI, the Bitcoin indicator, here behind us. I know he said in the past that 14 area has been support for Mara, and I've got to agree. It's a nice look right now for me. I think the fact that we've been making higher highs and higher lows since mid-April, not a bad look at all. So we'll have to wait and see what we do here. Also want to take a look at Celsius. I think it was Elon in the chat asking, you know what, like, why do you think Celsius is stronger after earnings, even though they did have, you know, not a great report? Analysts weren't down. I have to say, I'm going to be honest. For me, for this day trades, it's kind of like a Michael Noss type move, in that I'm just going to take it if I like the levels. I'm not, you know what I mean? I don't know a lot about the technicals, I don't know a lot about the actual. Actually, I do want to get
fundamentals.
Yeah, thank you. That's the word I was looking for.
No
I don't know a lot about the fundamentals of this company, but for me, I will say I have seen Celsius. We didn't used to have many of these in Canada. Now we start having them at grocery stores, started to 7-Eleven, convenience stores, right? So I think Celsius has been a name I've been more cognizant of lately. Maybe it's because I'm more aware of the stock. I don't know, but I will say I think that Celsius is. You know, we're gonna have to see if they can turn up the heat there because those earnings were not great. But I think, yeah, I think. As much as I'm not aware of the fundamentals, I would say I have seen them more. Also, I tried to go long after that resistance area, but we're gonna have to wait because we're never going to be resisting the temptation of hearing Neil's lesson of the day.
Thanks, guys. Lesson of the day today, it's a simple one. This is actually one of the more simple lessons I've ever seen. You can't expect ARM to cooperate with you if it's jealous of your arms, Sharif. That's why it wasn't a good trade for you, because ARM just didn't feel secure around the gun show that you're putting on. That's not the lesson of the day. The lesson of the day, and I try to do this every single chance I can. You know, it's something that I learned from that day that I feel like the market taught me, or maybe even the day before, like there's some kind of an execution, something I could have done differently, or something I think that went really well. And today it's about stock picking. So we always talk about, you've heard the term, it's a stock pickers market. Back when everything was going up in the best of the bull market, all the Mag 7 would go at once. If you had a long bias, you picked one or two right, and it didn't matter what you were in. You know, now you're going to get days where ARM is going up and Intel's going up and NVIDIA and AMD are going down. You're going to have situations where Apple can look weak and Tesla can look weak, and you're going to have Meta going through the roof. So that's what we mean by a stock pickers market. What can be tricky about this is you will have setups or specific trades that you love or that work for you. And you have to pick and choose between, okay, well, this dip buy is setting up exactly the same way as the other one. Which one should I try? It's not necessarily an easy thing to do. Now, I'm going to give you an example here, and I want to try to focus on the last trade in Robinhood, but I can't look at the chart without getting into what I feel has managed to save my day a little bit here, because today, rough kind of day. I think everyone saw that in the morning show. Basically managed to only give back yesterday, despite not really getting many winning trades, and even the winning trades were just getting back what we lost. But we were able to kind of lose what we lost yesterday by staying disciplined. So I liked a couple of things in Robinhood. You can see very specifically. Breakout, dip into support, first support, doesn't work. And then this last trade. Now, Robinhood had earnings today. Obviously, it's doing a relative volume, which is fantastic. It dipped right into a level that I knew I wanted to have a retracement bounce play. This is a dip into support after a flush at the open, looking for a move into VWAP, where it's got a lot of a big time support level that you can expect to have a bounce. In the moment that is getting down there, at the exact same time, and you would have heard me say this in the live show, at the exact same time, Palantir dips right into 21, which is post-earnings support as well, and it breaks 21 and comes back over. And in that moment, I was talking about 21 and Palantir and 18 and Robinhood and made the choice. And I made the choice to get into Robinhood, which is clearly wrong, instead of Palantir. Now here's where you can look for a reason why I should have chosen Palantir. And this is a relatively simple one. If you're choosing between two setups on two different stocks in a similar looking chart or trade idea, how about the one that just already worked before? So the difference between Palantir and Robinhood is Palantir dipped into 21 a couple of times at the open and already showed you a good rip. That's like a good 50 cents, at least 2% move, regardless of what you're trying to do with it. So that had already worked, and it had worked even yesterday. Robinhood, completely different. It's first day after earnings. I don't know what's going to happen. It's a setup stay. There's no question about it. It tried to go a little bit and worked for a small amount, but I don't really know if the buyers are going to be there. I'm anticipating it based on a trading setup. Whereas Palantir, you're just doing the same thing that worked the day before under the same premise. And to double down on that idea, and why I really should have known that that's what I should have done, is look no further than Disney. Disney is exactly the same trade, buy off the higher low, and then it broke it out, and that's one I had missed yesterday. And I said I missed this one yesterday and bought the top off of VWAP. Well, what happened to me on Disney? So I knew this lesson because I was already in Disney when it happened. It missed the dip buy, bought it off of VWAP. I went to it 3 times. The last one's a loss, but we're still up on Disney because it did exactly what it did the day before. So we're just taking the same trading setup where it worked previously. So when choosing between Palantir and Robinhood, it's not even complicated. I don't have to go to the higher time frame, which is not a bad idea. Go to a daily chart, maybe look at which one the trend is going to favor. All I had to do is look at the setup that was already proven off that same level. The dip buy already worked off 21. I don't need to make it any more complicated than that. And it's a simple choice. Exactly the same setup dipping into a support level. And all you got to do sometimes is go back to your data. This is why you track your results. This is why you keep in-play stocks around for a couple of days, because you just never know when something like that is going to happen. And again, it's not to say that, well, every situation is going to be that simple. The charts are going to repeat themselves. No, they're not. You are not always going to have situations where the exact same level that was gold the day before presents the same setup the next day. So it's even more important that when it's that easy, you just go ahead and do it. And that's why I thought it was really important today, because I made a conscious decision to pick the wrong stock. And you look back on it, and for all the obvious reasons, it was the wrong thing to do. It's a simple lesson of the day, everybody. When you're stock picking, the easiest decision you can make between one or the other is the one that's worked for you before. And it's all the better if it happened to work for you literally the day before. Keep it simple, stupid. My wife says it all the time, and she's right about most things. That's your lesson of the day.
Just love how he ended that off right there. That's just like a mic drop right there.
He's just like, I'm out now.
Yeah, shout out to the Neil. Killing it as always, dropping hot lines. Make sure to catch Neil's lesson of the day every day around the noon hour. Shout out to him. All right, while Neil was dropping hot lines, I did notice a couple of good entry points here on these here Mag 7. And I'm talking about TSLA. Looks really good here. 173-ish area. That was an area of support earlier, 945 to 955 there at the more liquid time of day. We bottomed out there, and now we've been rejecting this 173 all dang morning. Now it's also coming into that the 20 period EMA on the 5. So, you know, to me, it's more about the price action resistance than it is about the exponential moving average resistance. Coming down now into 172.50. I'll be very interested to get something here at 173. So much do I like it, I'm putting my alert there. But there is an individual by the name of Adara who just did something real well there, so we're going to shout her out. What'd you do?
Thank you. I took this short on Starbucks. I like that lower high. I think this is a range. I was just talking to Sharif off camera, and shout out to Sharif. I really appreciate you having the conversation with me, just kind of saying, like, you know, because I was mentioning earlier that I feel like I was doing a little bit better in the sim and I need to get back to that style of trading. And so Sharif was like, you know, just focus on what you were doing well. And I mean, I like my ranges. This range has been happening. Why the heck was I not playing it? I tried to take the long earlier, but that was clearly a mistake. Then I accidentally had some shares in there, apparently. So that lulls, good times. No, I'm joking. But it's all good. You just got to keep figuring it out. Keep moving with it. I'm really happy with how this short turned out. I'm going to be taking out half the position here if we get to 75. So that might have been a bit ambitious. We're at 75.01s. That could have been a better area. But you know what? I'm going to save a piece of the dream because we have gotten into 90s and 80s here. I think, there we go. Please, this punch. Thank you so much to Ian Rispetto for the 1999 super chat. Can you give me some insight to SMCI? I entered at 795 for a long heading to next week on the stock with the thought it has more upside, especially if NVDA beats in the next few weeks on earnings. What's your thoughts? Thank you so much again for the support.
Can I take this one? Because
yeah,
I was showing Brendo this morning. Yeah. No, not that I'm better or anything. I was talking to Brendo about this specific setup today. Okay. So here's the look. Here's what I see. I even asked Brendo, I'm like, Brendo, do you see a deformed looking head and shoulders on there? And he gave me a very honest answer. You can see, almost any shape if you really try. But what I do like, and this is not me trying to see something, but this lower highs and lower lows, this downward channel here on SMCI cannot be argued with, okay? But you do have price action support, no question about it, at 700. So what I'm thinking is we're putting in these lower highs, lower highs, lower highs, and we have a flat bottom, price action support at 700. If NVIDIA misses or anything happens that skews the direction of this upward move for SMCI, that 700 is going to give way. And that's how I feel about that. I mean, you've had price action support at 700 going all the way back since when you took it into February. So this is a very interesting area here. I'm concerned about these higher lows, these lower highs and lower lows. And I'm also very concerned about it curling down off this 800 and really blowing through that $700 level. Now, below that 700, do we have any actual price action support? Well, not really, but you have the 200 period on the daily at 600. So if you do break 700, I mean, I would have guessed 600 as a support level anyway because it's a $100 level, but you do actually have technical support in the what's it called, the 200 EMA. Below that, though, there is just not that much support. You're going to have to go all the way to the mid threes. I would say to you, likely below 600. If 600 doesn't hold, then you have a bit of a gap in between 600 and essentially 350. That is the consolidation area top that takes us all the way back from last June into the breakout area over here that happened earlier this year in January, middle to late January, when we really started flying. So lower highs, lower lows on this downward channel on SMCI with a $700 support. I mean, obviously, if NVIDIA beats, this downward channel is probably going to be gone, right? Because SMCI will probably pump, and we'll see exactly what happens. But I just want to point that out because I was talking to Brendo about that this morning, so I had it already ready to go there in my head. All right, it is 1:15, so let's start the lesson. I got signed out. So I'll have to send it. Oh, I got signed back in. That's really good.
Oh,
that's easy enough. Yeah, that was pretty good. All right, guys, let's get to the lesson du jour, baby. We are talking about buying the dip today within the context of IPOs, SPACs, which stands for Special Purpose Acquisition Companies, and DLs, which obviously stands for direct listing. IPO, by the way, in case you are just joining us for the first time, initial public offering is typically the vehicle by which a private company goes public, okay? We're talking about the three vehicles today: IPOs, SPACs, and direct listings. That's how you take a private company public, using one of those vehicles. So you see a hot IPO or SPAC or DL, and it moons after the opening, then takes a nosedive. Your pulse quickens. Is this intraday dip you've been waiting for? This lesson explores the fast-paced world of intraday buying the dip with IPO, SPACs, and DLs. Let's get right to it. So why do you want to buy the dip? What's so special about this dip trade on IPOs? Well, there's a whole lot of volatility, so you want to exploit the volatility with these listings. So new listings are volatile playgrounds, and the dips can be fleeting overreactions, offering quick entry and exit opportunities. Essentially what it's saying here is that this dip trade is going to be a fleeting retracement. It's going to pump back up. That's what exploiting volatility here is trying to say. And the momentum swings as well. A strong opening can be followed by profit taking, which creates temporary dips before the price eventually regains that momentum, starts moving back. And here it is depicted quite nicely, not a SPAC, but the whole idea of the dip trade at that key area of support. It has a big move up, then you get some profit taking, some selling, and it comes right back into that key area of support, and you buy that up. So is it a dip or a disaster with these IPO stocks? So before diving in, differentiate between a buying opportunity and a sinking ship. They can look similar, but they lead to vastly different results. So keep your eye on the short-term catalyst. Did a news headline trigger the dip? Is it likely to be a short-term blip or deeper issue? So for example, the IPO launches yesterday, and then today we get news about irregular accounting practices or whatever, anything like that. That causes a big dip. Is it something that's superficial, or is it something that's going to have a more prolonged effect? So what's the reason causing the dip? Keep your eye on that short-term catalyst. But also be acutely aware of technical indicators. Are the moving averages on your chart suggesting a potential trend reversal, or is it simply a healthy pullback within an uptrend? You're going to have to learn how to use these moving averages beyond the scope of this here lesson, but get acquainted with technicals for IPOs, because oftentimes there's just not enough price action off which to base it. And with IPOs, you always have to make sure you're looking at the book and the tape. When I say the book and the tape, I'm talking about the level 2 and the time and sales, all right? There sometimes is not enough price action on the chart to be able to see clearly where that resistance level is, where that big buyer is for support. You will see that a little bit better on the book, on the tape. So make sure, if you don't have those two utensils, to make sure to get them for your intraday trading. And here's what it looks like essentially when you buy the dip on the fake on this slide over here. So you try to buy the dip over here, it pops up, and then the dip didn't work. So you keep trying to buy the dip, you keep trying to buy the dip, and it keeps going down against you. So we'd like to be able to have some technique to differentiate between these, superficial dips and reversals. So the dip trade, step by step. First things first, pre-market prep. In the pre-market, you're gonna identify whatever IPO, SPACs, or DL, direct listings that you like. Make sure that they have the requisite volume in the pre-market. You wanna make sure that there's people that wanna participate in this like you. You don't wanna be stuck with a slow mover. And then you're looking to spot the dip. So once you have that particular name in your purview, now you're gonna watch it. You're gonna look for the dip. You're gonna monitor the opening price action. You're gonna look for a sharp decline with increasing volume, but not a complete meltdown. So you should have some parameters there that help you establish what a healthy retracement is versus what a reversal is. And then you can also definitely keep your eye on support and resistance. So if It's traded second day, third day. You already have some established levels. So if the price dips near a previously established support level, like a historical buying zone, it might be a good entry. And then you're looking for confirmation signals as well. You're looking for technical indicators like bullish RSI price divergence. And the example I gave before, let's bring in the side chart over here so I can show you what that kind of looks like, is you're looking essentially, when I say RSI price divergence, what you're looking for, and the RSI is this yellow line on the bottom over here, you're looking for price to make lower lows, but not to necessarily see that on on the RSI chart, or for the price to make higher highs, but for the RSI to make lower highs. That essentially means, you know, the good times may be coming to an end. Or for example, you're making lower lows on a down move, and then you start making higher lows on the RSI. That could be bullish divergence, signaling that the bad times may be ending and we're gonna start curling back up. So keep your eye out always on price RSI divergence. It's a good indicator and one that the NOS boss has taught me to use when he was around these parts. So keep your eye on that. And then quick entry and exit as well, really important, right? Intraday dips are for quick scalps. Have a clear profit target like 2 or 3% from your entry, and a stop loss order to set a limit on your potential losses. You could do like a 1 or 2% percentage dip stop below your entry. You could use average to range. Figure out the way you want. Just make sure that it's consistent. And some bonus tips, guys. Your position size matters here. Keep your position size small for your intraday dips. You might take multiple trades throughout the day. You want to be around to be able to trade. If you take a big boy size and then end up getting stopped out, you could blow up your account or get shut down, like here on the floor. And news flow with IPOs, SPACs, and direct listings is absolutely king. Stay glued to real-time news to understand what might be driving the price action and, you know, identify, is it something bullish or bearish? And discipline with IPOs is your edge, okay? Stick to your predefined entry and exit points. Don't chase the losses or get greedy and hold on for too long. These IPOs, anybody who's traded them, anybody who's traded first day de-SPACs or these direct listings knows how increasing the volume can get throughout the day. So make sure that you are staying disciplined and waiting for your setup to materialize. All right, let's see what the chat is up to here. I already see some tags. Shout out to Jay Lee. I'm getting ready to go long Snap. Bring it up. It's back to earlier resistance. He goes on to say, Snap is literally dipping now, so tie in with your lesson on this point. Let's have a look at the Snapchat. Thank you for that, Jay. One of the OGs there in the chat. What are we doing here on the Snapchat? Let's have a look. Oh, okay, so we broke lows there at 16.28. That was LOD. We printed 22s. We're down almost 3% on the day. This is a sympathy play from yesterday, or what happened with Snap again, Adara?
Let's find out what's snapping.
Oh, here it is.
Something did snap in. I just don't remember what it was.
Here it is. So Snap shares are trading lower Thursday after the company announced the pricing of a private offering of $650 million convertible senior notes due in 2030. I'm not going to read it any more than that. All you need to know, there's an offering, and it's $650 million, and the market doesn't like it. Shout out to Jay. I'm going to put this out on my star chart. We're going to keep eyes on Snap.
Yeah, we should keep it snappy. I want to take a look. I did a thing, and I want to talk about the thing, and I'm not proud of the thing, but we did it. I got long Celsius again, and I really like this. I was talking to Sharif about this off camera. I initially really wanted to go long here around, it was like this 84.70, because that was that previous top. I was like, this is a great look. We didn't. Then I was like, you know, we initially were bouncing kind of decently off the 85.60, so I got involved there. Initially it was working out, then it fell, and I got out when we kind of had that 85 break. A, I should have gotten out way earlier. B, why was I so chasey? I always say don't go chasing waterfalls, and then I immediately jump into a stream. It's like, if I had planned this entry better and just gotten involved at like the dip at 85.20s, which is initially when I wanted to move up, I would have been fine. I am really, really deeply disappointed in myself, but I'm always going to stay positive, because that's what we do over here. Nice. I just want to be honest. You know what I mean?
Good.
I think it's like a nice combination of honesty and positivity is what we want. Not my best day of the trading day ever. Definitely my worst day since going live, so I want to be very cautious about the trades I take going forward. Starbucks got that high of day break, which means for my purposes, it's pretty much toast. It's a nice little frothy latte. Not for me, but shout out to everybody else who's killing it with this. I want to make sure if we have that high of day break, there could be a long off of this, but Starbucks is just getting so unpredictable. I was really proud of that scalp I took there off that 75.14, but I think that opportunity has come and gone. It looks like we really are trying to have that high of day break now. Although we've been trying for an hour and a half, so like, I don't know, Starbucks, you got to make up your mind, girl. I don't know what it's doing. Let's take a look at Robinhood, because that was we were in the hood earlier. Really proud of where I got out. The long didn't work out though. However, it could continue to be a short. We're a bit down of the day. We're at lows of days, but look, we are coming back into that previous area. Okay, I want to take the short. I do want to take the short. We're going to get short 46s here, and we're going to make the position a little bit smaller because I think the position size has also not been my bestie today. If we break into this, we're going to give this, okay, I really like this. I want to get involved at 46 because of that previous support. If we break above that 1756, which was that previous high, I'm outie. I don't want to make any new highs. So there we go. To quote Mary J. Blige, no more drama in my life, and hopefully no more drama in my trades.
And every time you say Audi, I think about Clueless.
Oh, yeah. That's fair.
Yeah, because they always say, I'm Audi. Yeah. Well, or whatever.
As if.
Yeah, there you go. One of the OG movies, man. That's like, yeah, it's old school. That's like my sister's generation.
Alicia Silverstone.
Yeah, that's my sister's generation. That's not even mine. Say that again, Ram. I'm not saying that out loud either. Well, are you serious? Is she actually? That's. Oh, but he's her stepbrother. He's not related to him, Ram.
It's also in the movie.
It's the
like I don't even have my earpiece working, and I still know what is being discussed here.
Her headset isn't working, by the way, so she has no idea what Ram is saying.
I think I'm pretty sure I know.
Yeah, well, yeah, for sure. Anyway, short TSLA. I said I'd get short at 173 area. It's come back into 173. Let's see what we get here. It's been, it's been a resistance level all day. Not all day, obviously, but for the majority of the morning, we'll see. My out is going to be the break of this crest over here, so that 173.15 break and take, I'll get out of that. I could be persuaded to DCA somewhere at, like, say, 173.10, 173.08, but with that same stop. If this makes a higher high, I just don't want it, because then it could be rounded bottom, and if it starts rounding bottom, then we could easily get a VWAP retracement into 173 mid-50s, and if that's the case, then I don't want any of that smoke. So, no, I don't. So let's go ahead, and I'm going to sit at, I'm going to short here at 9s, and I'm going to keep my eye on it. If this prints anything above 173.18, that's going to be the end of the trade on my TSLA trade. We'll try 173 here, and then there it goes, and I'm going to have to get out of this trade here, Dara, as it's continuing up. Sucks to be me. We had to get out of this trade. 173 breaks the time we decide to take it, so that's just the way it goes. And you've got to re-up and get ready. So now, if it comes into VWAP at 173.50-ish and it rejects there, I'm going to be looking at that level.
Yeah, I mean, I'm finally trusting my instincts here on this. I know I said to stop looking at Celsius, but right as I was about to go, we had that short the pop I wanted. I took 20 pennies on this. Really proud. This is the type of trading I need to be doing in and out. I'm exhilarated. Was it a bit of a revenge trade? Sure, but I think I needed it just to remind myself, it's like, if you trade your style, you can be okay. So we're going to have to turn the heat off Celsius, take that one off the stove. No more energy in that name. But I think I really need that trade because it was something I felt confident in. And, you had the blood rushing, all of the things that were described in the start of that lesson, like, oh, you like that area, blah, blah, blah. So, yeah, happy with that. Whew. Also, Starbucks heard me say it was going to break high of day, and it's like, well, actually, maybe not. I changed my mind, Adara. So now Starbucks back to this range.
Oh.
And those words, range is one of my favorite words. And every time Sharif says range, I'm like,
Hello.
So yeah, literally, I popped my head over there. So, you know, Starbucks, if you want to hold the 75, don't know if you do, because you've been a Scotch bamboozling, but it's been holding 75 really well. So we are going to go back to basics here. Shout out to that Christina Aguilera album from like 2007. Take that range and see what happens, and take Celsius off the side chart, because apparently I am way too tempted to get involved. We're going to replace that with the Cheesecake Factory. Cheesecake Factory was one that I did get out of the short earlier. Happy with how that went. Because like I said, I didn't like that we're moving back here, and I definitely would have gotten out when we broke above that 80s area. It's been continuing to the downside, though. I still love that previous base of 45 and then also that 60s level. So if either of those come back into fruition, come back into play, I shall be taking a bite of that cheesecake. Also, Cheesecake Factory, like the cheesecake is good.
So good.
Like I went with
So
my, I've been like twice, and I went with my friend recently, like December or something for her birthday, and it was a good time. It's a nice, you have to wait for hours, but it was great.
So I took some takeaway cheesecake because I had the folks come over.
Flavor?
I just got like a bunch of different things.
Okay.
Strawberry with strawberry one. I had a chocolate cheesecake. Can we talk about the fact that they've become insanely expensive?
Oh, they're so expensive.
Per piece?
There's
Like how much
$12.
sugar is in this thing? Like what are they putting in this thing? It's ridiculous. Yeah, they're like $20 a pop, bro. And that's Canadian, obviously, not American. So a little pricey. Anyway, we got short on Tesla, took a nice 20 penny winner right down there. Took an L on it initially. No, let's call a spade a spade. We got short at the 50, so the 20 doesn't hold up. But guess what? The 50 did on the 5, and down we go again. I'm still holding a little piece. I want to see if this makes its way below 173. It's definitely using now 173 as support, prior resistance. If that's the case, then I'll flip. I'll look to go long on 173 if it's going to use it as support. I don't care. I have no affinity to any levels here on TSLA. So look, it is now curling. I want to give it some time to make sure that this 173 is not going to give way, because I could be seeing what I want to see, which is 173 support. If we give way at 173, I'll hold the position, maybe into that 2/3 of a dollar or whatever. But if it keeps holding 173, then I could be persuaded to get a dip trade long off that level and see where it goes from there. So yeah, that's the situation with me and my Tesla trade at the moment. Here comes 173 again. There goes 173 on a closing basis, though. We need a close, and now we're getting prints well below 173. Nice, Tesla. Come down into the mid-60s or whatever so we can make up what we lost on you, punk. So there we go. Into the low 90s we go. Yeah. Now we're doing decent here, Adara. So we're going to flatten out over here. Good little trade off the top there. Happy that I was able to avenge my loss, but I'm still negative on Tesla. That's just the fact matters. So we'll look for the next trade now to see what's moving. Now, as I look at it, crypto all went green. What happened here? Ooh. So Bitcoin up into 62 1/3 again, up about 1/3%. What's it called? Ethereum back above 3,000. MicroStrategies 5%. Okay, calm down, bro. Coinbase up 0.71. You have Mara, which reports after hours today. Don't forget that. Up 1.6. And by the way, I was looking at Market Chameleon just to kind of get the idea of what to expect here on Mara. Let's go ahead and log into Market Chameleon over here. Yes, I do want to continue. So let's load up earnings and then have a look at what they're predicting for Mara. What's the market cap on this stock? So because it always
I think it's like around
5.5.
Oh, 5.5.
Yeah. So the reason is it's ordered by market cap, so I have to go all the way down. Let's see. No. Okay, so let's go into number 2, and it should be here. Marathon. There we go. So last time around, Mara tanked 16.5% from the prior day close to the next day's close, okay? So 16.5% was the actual move. Now, expected this time around, plus or minus 9.1%. That's decent amount. So just, kind of do that calculation. And one thing that always stays in my mind when I do these assessments about plus or minus or whatever is what Danielle Shea said. So Danielle Shea brought a really good point. I think she brought it on the market recap show with the Katina Man and Adara now. Is she said if the price stays between that expected move, so moves up 8.5% or moves down 8.5%, then you can mean revert back. But once you break out of that 9%, so say it goes above 9% or below 9% by some distance, you may not mean revert at that point. That may just be, the new kind of look for that particular name. So, I know it's a lot easier to say than to do and to calculate percentages while this thing is moving in real time, but just have that kind of in the back of your mind. Also, the call takes place at 5. So if you're going to trade this in the aftermarket, know that the earnings are probably going to come out 4 or 4.05 or 4.10, 4.15, whatever. It's always increments of 5. And then they're going to start dropping hot lines in the call at 5 p.m., which is another possible market mover. We'll see exactly. I want to hear what they're going to say about how they're going to make more money now that the halving event has come and gone. A lot of options volume on this monster, 104,000 different contracts. That's the biggest, I guess, on this page. Let's see if there's any ones that outdo this one. Yeah, Roblox had more, 239,000 contracts on RBLX today for that earnings miss. Go down, Tesla, all the way down. So
Punk. Go down, you punk.
Yeah. It breaks down. It looks like it's printing in the 60s right now, dear.
You calling Tesla a punk is just like the thing I did not expect to happen today that I really enjoyed. So, putting cyberpunk. Cybertruck being a cyberpunk there.
Love it.
Yeah, I had to. But yeah, so this Starbucks here, let's get that pumpkin apple spice or caramel apple spice there. We're gonna get spicy in this market. That was I don't know if they even make that drink anymore, but like when I wasn't allowed to have caffeine, the caramel apple spice was my Starbucks order. And that's a good time. So hopefully we get a little bit caramel apple spicy in this move to the upside. I have very little faith left in this move. Like I said, I think Starbucks is so confused as to what she wants to be when she grows up. So I have to respect that. But also I have to respect that she's bouncing off 75. If I can take 10 pennies, I was literally risking like 5 pennies. So if I can take 10 pennies, I'm going to be pleased as punch. This is, I really did like the fact that we keep seeing this range coming to fruition. I didn't play every pop. In fact, I played it wrong the first couple times. But it's like, I think once you get back into range trading, I say this, by you, I mean me. I think I need to just get more accustomed and more comfortable with how these ranges work. Why do you not want 7509 Starbucks? Asking for a friend. But yeah, so also, we do have that 30-year auction coming up at 1 p.m. Yeah. Like the most obvious part of that, which was the auction being at 1, was the part I forgot about. But it is a 30-year auction. It's coming at 1 p.m. That is something I do not want to be in any trades during, because that can get you a little bit chopped and churned and messed up. I was in a Q short during the auction yesterday, and it ended up working to my favor, but I didn't take any profit. So that was a huge learning lesson for me. It's like you need to be on the ball. And if you're off the ball, the market will just be like, okay, cool, I took your money, have a good time, right? Doesn't care about your feelings, so you need to be prepared. So I have all but one singular share out of Starbucks. Now, we don't usually talk about position sizes, but I have a cool 1 share left, and I just thought that was pretty funny, which is why I shared it. But now we're all out.
Hey.
So I'm pleased this punch. Needed that. Still down in the day, but trying to work out of that little teeny tiny, it's not tiny. It's a decent hole we've dug ourselves out of. But we're going to keep going, or dug ourselves into, but we're going to keep going. We're going to keep pushing, making trades that make sense. So I'm happy with how this is going so far, and rant over.
Okay.
How is the punk going? Oh, yeah, I forgot you flattened it out.
Yeah, but I want to complain about ARM now.
Please do.
We had a good trade on it. We had one bad trade, one good trade, but it's continuing to head down. So, and I'm not trying to toot my own horn here or anything, but I really want to say why I was interested in this ARM short. And it really is not that complicated. This was the closing print on ARM yesterday, Ram. And this is where it came down to. Let's look at the 5-minute over here. And this white line, this white horizontal line, is the closing print. We closed yesterday before that big boy Huadunk there at, what time was that, Huadunk? 4:05. We printed 106.05. That was the closing print. I mean, we come up into, yeah, you guessed it, 106 and change, and then we tank $5+ off that. So good luck. Now, initially, you did have some support at VWAP. Remember how we were saying that this 102.50 generalish area of the volume weighted average price could act as a support level. In addition to being support, it also had the IB high at 102 1/3. And it did hold up there for, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 5-minute candles, and then it gave way here. And we're trying to hold at the 200. So keep your eye on ARM. I mean, these levels here, I'm thinking below 101.50, we got to really talk about 100. Now there is price action support to reinforce the idea that $100 could be support, not just the fact that it's a $100 level. Look at this. Over here, 840, $100 top. 905, $100 top. Look at all these closing prints. Yes, I know that they go well past 100, but all the closing prints are at $100 until we really close above 100 for the first time here at 950. So it took 20 minutes for that closing print to come above 100 bucks. So yeah, 100 bucks, I mean, I would be looking possibly long off 100. So I'm going to put the alert, and I'll put it at like $100.50, just so that I could have advanced notice of that $100 level and I'll have a look and see, do I like the trade or what the situation is. So we'll keep looking at that. Escobar Home 2.0. Who is Ram? Do we still have that camera or is that camera gone?
Ramra?
We have the production team camera.
The Ramra.
Right? The Ramra. She's right there. Hello, Ram. The Ramra, the camera, the camera, the Ram camera. That's who she is, Escobar Home 2.0. She is one of the amazing production team that we have there. The other individual, the Chilean Nightmare, Fabian, also there on the ones and twos at times. So that's, if I say Chilean Nightmare or say Ram, I'm referring to our production team, the best production team, baby.
Shout out.
Shout out to them. All right, let's have a look at the Mag 7 over here, Darren, figure out what trades we could possibly get into. And I heard a lot of people talking about this in the chat, and I can't disagree with it at all. But this 183, mid-60s, high 60s, mid-70s, this is an obvious top on AAPL and has been for the entire day. But keep your eye on these higher lows. This ascending wedge could mean something, especially because it appears in the right context here. We always see these ascending wedges when they were preceded by downtrends. Now we have an ascending wedge preceded by an uptrend. And that's important difference because it's a continuation pattern at its best. So let's see if we can get a break through, essentially it's 183.86, but it's more like 184. So I like this. Look for possible dips off VWAP. I know that the easier trade is to short near these tops, and I already had a short on Apple at these tops. I got it like in the 70s or something. But yeah, I think that the more aggressive and possibly more profitable trade is to get long here for a flat top break. I wouldn't mind having something at VWAP along at VWAP on Apple 183.45, 183 mid 40s, something like that. Currently VWAP's at low 40s. Yeah, it's at low 40s. So mid 40s maybe. What are you looking at?
Oh yeah, I am taking, I'm trying to get short Starbucks again, because if that range is going to keep happening, I'm going to go back to Starbucks. I'm going to say, hey, can you please refill my range trade, please? And they'll say, thank you. Yeah, that made sense. Also, I'm in SOXL. I took this short. This was kind of an impulse thing, but I think in a good way. Because I was like, oh, Adara, NVIDIA's curling to the upside. Are you sure? And I was like, no, I am sure. You know why I'm sure? Because look at this little waffle around VWAP. We have slightly lower highs. We've been chopping and turning like ping pong or table tennis or what have you from that 40-10 area down into that 40 area. So I want all of the smoke. Yeah, I said that with a lot of inflection in my voice because I meant it. I'm not getting Starbucks. I'm going to cancel that because I think Starbucks has gone back to deciding she doesn't know what she wants to do with her life, so that's fine. Then I do not know what I want to do with her. If we break above this previous little chop and churn area, that 40.13, I'm out. Got to say bye-bye. But I do like the SOXL for right now, and I'm happy I took it because I think my biggest things in general and also today have been A, being too indecisive, not getting in when you have good opportunities, and then B, just like panicking and not leaving when I need to. So gonna shout out my pal, nemesis, frenemy, je ne sais pas, Celsius. Today is my worst trading day since going live, and a lot of that has to do with the Celsius move. Initially I liked these trades, I had confidence in them. Then I decided to get back in, and like honestly, these whatever, I'm okay with. I'll take the losses on that. This last trade though, I'm really upset at myself for because I was very chasey about it because I didn't have the impetus to punch in earlier when I really wanted this long off that bounce off previous support. That was the trade that really should have been taken. So that's why I was like very much like grr at myself for missing that opportunity. now Celsius is kind of heading to the downside. I'm happy I was able to take that 20 penny short. And, if we keep projecting off the 90 MA, that could be a thing later. But I think just not getting married to bad ideas and trying, sometimes, first thought, best thought, and that's a little bit dramatic. But, if you really like something, and it's coming into fruition for you, just get out. We broke above 40.13, so bye-bye, sock sell. Did take a sock sell on it, but just looking for some more trades, some more opportunities. Chill vibes. I wish I knew more about the bond auction than I actually do, but to my understanding, they basically will auction off the bonds for, I'm gonna have to ask her because I know he knows a little bit better than I do. It's usually international, right? So you'll have the bond auction. There's different bonds as well. You've got like the 4-week, the 30-year, the 10-year, and there are certain ones that are followed more closely than others, and they don't always move the market either. So the 30-year is sometimes one that could be a little bit more loosey-goosey. Sometimes we'll also have delayed reactions. We had a little baby drop to the downside of the 10-year, and other than that, not much. We also have bond auctions sometimes at 11:30 a.m., and those I find are a little bit usually less conducive to market moves than the ones we have at 1 p.m. Though the ones we have at 1 p.m. are also not always conducive to market moves. So it really does depend. I will ask Louis Shreve when he gets back here because I would like to know a little bit more about the bond auction myself. Not something I am as well versed in as I would like to be. I'm trying to see if there's any other things I want to take a look at here. Reddit, John King mentioning Reddit. I'm not going to give advice here on whether or not to buy or sell Reddit, but I could take a look at the Reddit chart for you. Reddit is on the NY, which I apparently missed out on there. So Reddit, New York here for Reddit. Reddit's a range on the day. Pardon? See, my thing is too, I feel like you'd have to go short here though on Reddit. When I say you, I mean me, to play this range. I don't know. But yeah, John King, I will say, I don't know what term you're talking about. Again, not going to give advice whether to buy Reddit. I will say, or buy or sell Reddit. Sorry, I will say right now with RDDT, if we're going to go on the daily chart, it is interesting how we're kind of bouncing here off that previous chop and turn around 50, right? Now we're making a little bit of a bounce on the daily. We'll have to see if that holds up. We did just have earnings, but yeah, I will say the 50 level to me is interesting. Again, not advice, just my take on the chart. The other level that's interesting to me is going to be that 56. So I don't know. If you're thinking on the intraday chart as well, like I said, I think to me, the big play on the intraday is this range from that 49.80 to that 49 area. I just don't feel comfortable enough in my risk management to take it, if I'm being really honest. Also, sorry, so can you explain the bond auction? Because Chill Vibes was asking, and I tried to explain it. I think I explained it horribly.
Yeah, no problem.
Thank you.
I just want to know if John King works for CNN. Is that John King?
I don't know.
Oh, you didn't get it. Okay, well, John King is CNN King.
Oh,
okay.
I thought you were being serious. I can't do sarcasm.
John King as well. Yeah, Larry King's, I think he's expired, Yeah, no, I meant John King. Yeah, we're a nice way, Ram. Okay, so the bond auction is really interesting because, so there's a couple of ways that the U.S. government raises money to pay for all the programs that they pay for. Taxation is the one that we're all familiar with, right?
Oh, yeah.
But there's the issuing of debt. Okay. And the issuing of debt is essentially treasury notes. So they give you an IOU. It's like, okay, here you buy $100 of my debt, and in exchange for buying $100 of my debt, I'm going to give you some interest on that. Okay. And then at the expiration period, if it's 5 years, you get your $100 back, and you'll have accumulated all those interest payments along the way for 5 years. So you're in the money, whatever. Okay. Yeah. So it's better, obviously, when there's a higher rate to do that. So why do they do that? Because they need to spend on their government programs. So when we have these bond auctions, whether they're well received or not, I guess is almost an indirect reflection on the U.S. economy. If a lot of people want to buy U.S. debt, that means they have more trust and faith in the U.S. economy to want to buy up their debt. The biggest buyers are the Japanese, the Chinese, and recently the Saudis, right? And so when we see these bond auctions that are not well met, it kind of makes us question whether or not, the market is looking at the economy from a favorable sense. And there's another adage that I have to add this in to the context, that everyone always says the bond market is more sophisticated than the equities market, that bond traders are more intelligent and they have a better beat, a better understanding of the entire market. So we always kind of look at the bond market as that sophisticated, they know what they're doing kind of thing. Now, not all of that could be wrong. Okay. Right? I mean, it doesn't have to be accurate every time, but that's the general perception.
Thank you for explaining that. Because I remember reading about bonds like when I was doing the business courses before I started. But it's like that the auction. It's really fascinating. And also shout out to Chris Brecher, who was on the market recap show yesterday, talking about some bonds. We were bonding over bonds last night. But yeah, thank you, Sharif, for going over that. We will get that 30-year auction in 12 minutes. Also, thank goodness I did not get short Starbucks again, because Starbucks is like, actually, I just got my caramel macchiato. Now I'm feeling like I finally want to break that high of day. So do your thing, 21 Starbucks. Congrats to anybody who was in this long. Happy I played it the way I did. Am I positive on it right now? No. Pennies negative on it, so basically flat on it, but really happy with what I did. Taking some trades I liked on it after taking some L's earlier. That's what I'm trying to do. Congrats to Starbucks, making its high of day. You worked for that, girl. You were chopping and turning for like an hour and a half before you got to that high of day, so shout out to Starbucks. Shout out to anybody in that trade. I'm trying to find some opportunities here, and I have to say, this topping candle in the Qs, actually, wait, no, I pull it up, and now I'm like, I think we're going to keep going higher. But initially, I liked that we had a little bit of that topping tail at that previous resistance. I think it's going to go higher, though, so I'm trying to make my choices a little bit less based on one candle, trying to see what these markets have to offer, because I definitely want to get involved.
All right, I'm short the dead one at these highs. It put in a 92 print, or it looks like a 91 and change print, and I ended up watching it go down to 81s. I said, look, I'll get short, because it kind of rejected that level. But I'm going to tell you, I'm not going to allow this to go any more against me than 94s. I've already put in my out for 94, so if it continues higher and breaks through 184, then great. Then we'll trade it the other way. Had profitable trade on it already, and looks like I'm going to get stopped out now as we're 1 penny away from my stop there at 94s. Apple breaking high days, putting in those higher lows and higher highs. Let's see what it does at the whole dollar level if it makes its way up there. But it looks like I am destined to get stopped out here as Apple is at high a day, and there I go, and there I'm out of the entire position. And the chart absolutely went haywire there. Apple on to 184, 183.99 HOD at the moment. There's size here on the book at 184, some decent size. These are lots, not shares, by the way. So 842 lots, 333 lots, 131.28. So there's big boy size at the 184 level. And alas, we reject off that level and come back down. So maybe the better area was the whole dollar level. Look at that dip. Right back down to 90s. We'll see if this one ends up being a V-shaped touch and drop off that 184. So interesting price action here for Apple. Let's also watch to see if it uses the previous area of support, like that high 80s, low 90s, as a good support level. It was previously resistance. If it doesn't, then we'll look for a break and take of 184. If it does give way to that level, that high 183s, mid 183.80s, then I'll look to get short again. I don't have a problem doing that. But watching right now as AAPL does the dance with that whole dollar, a topping tail candle coming in on the 5-minute right now, and into the 80s we go. So I did get bamboozled out of that, but that's, I guess, just kind of normal around here. Keep your eye out for this candle, the 5-minute candle, to close in the shape that it's currently at. That's a topping tail candle, and it's awfully bearish. So let's keep our eye on that. What's the future doing? No, we're not tanking on the future. We're holding up decently here above 18.2. No, we're not, actually. We're below 8. Yeah, 18.2, 18.214. So we're doing decent here on the future. Keeping my eye on that. Let's talk about some Amazon as well. Ram. Amazon now curling back up. So the deeper retracements, we've been talking about this, come into the 20, the more shallow into the 10, and Amazon's been awfully strong ever since it popped up into 191, and a third came back down, broke that 190.50, and then up we go again, looking to take 191. So good look there for Amazon. This candle on Apple looks awfully bearish, but I just feel like it's just so obvious that it's just going to lure people in, and we're going to get a 184 break. So I don't know. I don't know what to do here on Apple. I'm going to stay clear for a second until this resolves one way or another. 183.99 HOD. It broke that previous resistance high, and it's doing things right now. Unsure how this resolves. Watching Apple for a nice either breaker or dip.
Do you think the candle could be lying to you?
I like that. Yes, it doesn't lie. It misleads.
Oh, I like that. Let's take a look at Jesus Cabrera saying, Amazon, please. And I mean, I love the quaint way with which you asked to look at Amazon. So we're going to express deliver a look at Amazon for you.
Quaint and express deliver. I love it.
Oh, this is a great look. To me, you know what words I'm going to say. There are 3 of them. It is flat top break. I can't, again, not advice just be taken on the chart, but this is an amazing look. Higher lows, flattish top around that 191 area, and it's a whole dollar level, so that's a nice look. Yes, okay, so I know there were, I know you got in, I don't know when you got back in this. I know earlier you were involved at 187, but currently long, I have 2 guesses. One of them is 189.70, the other one is 190.40. Oh, okay, sorry, I didn't realize when you, 187.54, so that's, shout out to the sticky note.
Attaboy, Katina, man.
Yeah, so shout out to Sean. I didn't know where you got involved, but yeah, Sean is a cool, almost $4 in the money, and once that flat top breaks off, pretty sure that $4 will be there. He will be getting express delivered those dollars. Also, I am pleased as punch with Sox Al, finally trying to give me a Sox W here after Lord knows how long today. But no, I really like this level, which is why I got involved. Initially got out of the short in that level, then we chop and turn around, and I'm like, you know what? I think we could push higher. We had a bit of a bamboozling candle, but I didn't get involved in one candle. I said, we're not going to short just on one candle. No, sir. No, ma'am. No person. I want to get long because I do think we have the continued movement to the upside. The Qs are also seeing a similar action. I notice sometimes the stock sell and Qs will trade in tandem, not always, but there's sometimes similar movements. So I wanted to get involved here. I'm happy with this. I want to see what we do at 40.30s because that was a level A I liked earlier as resistance. B, it was that chop and turn area earlier. C, stock sell. If you want to keep going to the upside, I'd be happy. No, for no reason. It's just me talking to the stock there. But yeah, so let's see how this goes in stock sell. I don't dislike it right now. It always could be an L, but anything could be an L. You know what I mean? It's about you trying to take it, trying to take that win, right? Because you could lose on everything. But it's if you like the idea, sometimes you just have to commit to it, have the conviction. As Sean always says, a scared trader is a deficient trader.
Bang.
I've been deficient. I've been a deficient trader today for a lot of reasons, but I definitely wouldn't say I've been scared. And so I'm proud of that. I'll take that for what it is.
I like it. I'm crazy. So I'm going short Apple again. Let's see if it breaks through 184 this time. I'm going to flatten out if it breaks through 184. I'm not even going to give it any room. But there's a whole lot of price action dancing right now. The tape's moving a little bit more aggressively than it has. I'm short at 95s. If this breaks 184, I'm gonzino. We got a bit of a candle of indecision on the 5. It was a doji candle with the body twisting a little bit to the bottom. Yeah, you can't really put too much stock into that. But when we did come up into 184, look at the lots. Look at the size at 184. It's big. These aren't shares. These are lots. So, there is a decent amount of size here at the 184 level. So I'm looking to wet my beak on some profits. I'm also looking to add to this Apple short if we break below 183.86, which is the low of the previous candle. This was how I was coming at this trade. I wanted to come at it from a pop trade, so get 95s, very close to that 99, so I only have to risk like 4 or 5 pennies. And if it does make a 5-minute candle to make a new low, I want to add to the position because I feel that it could be right at that point. So we'll see here, coming back into 90s, 2 topping tail candles on the 5 right now on AAPL. Doesn't mean a whole lot because we have one that's closed and one that's like very early on. I mean, how much time do we have left on this here 5-minute candle? We have like 3 minutes left, so there's plenty of time for things to change. A break above 184 and I'm gonzino. And I see, Amazon pumping here. I see Tesla coming into the volume weighted average price. Meta and Microsoft, Google as well, a little bit dead today. They're not really doing much. But here we go. Apple again knocking the door at 97s. 98s could be forthcoming. We'll have to wait and see. There's not too much size in the way of resistance after 184. There's big boy size at 184. Not too much that I can see anyway on the book above that level. So we're dancing. We've been dancing for a bit here. We'll see how this resolves. Brad Gobert was telling me something about his Tesla trade. I didn't know if he was long or short. Brad Gobert, long Tesla, 173, has held it for 8 minutes. Shout out to you, Brad. I see it there. You're nicely in the money, 20 plus some odd pennies in the money. But keep your eye on VWAP at the $0.50. It seems to be a bit of a local top. But I like your trade, Brad, because you're doing the rounded bottom right there. So here comes 184, guys. And there's big size at 184. Let's see how this resolves. Something nice to watch here, but obviously I don't want this to go against me, and there it is. So I'm out at 184 as it did break, but this could still be a short. So I'm getting ready to see if we dump off these levels. Now, high a day on AAPL 184.05. We're at 184 right now. Looks like we may take this level, Adara. 0.69 on the day right now to the green is AAPL. And it's been a decent move the last couple of days. Nothing really to complain about here as a long-term shareholder, but not liking this intraday trade as I did get weaseled out. And now down we go again below 184. Yeah, I'm not going to take a third crack at this until it resolves one way or another. If I have to miss some, I have to miss some, but I'm not going to keep getting cut up on this. So I'm going to pack my patience. I do like this level on Apple, just unsure how to trade it. Let's see what comes.
Do you think maybe the reason Apple's so active lately is because it's getting revenge at you for calling it the dead one?
Oh, that could be very true.
No, also, yeah, because I just realized, so the reason we jokingly call Apple the dead one is because I found it really funny. Back in October, Sharif Ones was like, oh, we could call Apple the dead one because it's not doing anything. And also because it kind of generally does not do a lot.
No.
It is, compared to a Tesla or an NVIDIA or even a Meta, which could move dollars, like the range per candle, as Sharif always says, can be psychotic in some of these Tesla, NVIDIA, Meta type moves. Meta is a stealth bamboozler.
Oh, yeah.
That for free. But with Apple, you don't really have the type of movement. Apple's more subdued.
1 minute to the auction, guys.
We have 1 minute to the auction.
Yep.
Oh, actually, it's right now. I'm waiting for the results. I have my financial juice up. We're not sponsored by them, but I'm just using that there. We did already have the 4-week earlier today. Let's see if we got that 30-year. Happy I'm not out of SOXL because I have no reason to be, though I am a skosh. Like, girl, what are you doing? SOXL, can you do something for me? Can you keep bouncing off the 9 EMA for me? Do your thing, SOXL. Do your thing. So that's what happened there. We'll have to see. We keep bouncing off that 40-10, so it's not at all a bad look for me. I don't want to get too shook with this. I want to say, okay, it looks like we might have gotten something because those TQs took a little bit of a bath here, got a little bit rinsed to the downside.
Down.
On the TQs. Down and pamp it. It could be like the soundtrack of the midday. But also, hey, you know what? I want to wait for those results. I want to wait for that reaction. If we bounce, though, off that 58.70 area, I've been watching this all day. If the TQs bounce here, things could get really interesting. That was that previous area of resistance. It's come into confluence a couple times. If we get that bounce, things could get indeed spicy. For now, though, I am getting out of, I think, my SOXL if we don't have this nice little bounce here. Waiting for that result, guys. Trying to see what happened in these 30 years. But yeah, this has been, I mean, also just shout out to Uzi Game GP in the chat. Buy the dip. Because that is actually the theme of the day. And we're going to get back to that lesson in just a moment. I am just extricating myself from my SOXL. We have been extricated. It's all good. Please, but it wasn't a winning trade, but we didn't lose as much as we could have. So yeah, I appreciate the bang button. I think we should have the bang button for stuff like that. You know what I mean? Sometimes it's like you didn't get rinsed. Bang.
Well, exactly. I mean, a bad trade could be much worse. We all know that. I think we got the results of the auction because the tape is really moving here on the dead one Apple, a little bit above, a little bit below. Let's see how this one resolves. It looks like it has taken, at least for the moment, 184 as a level. 184.06 is dancing with it right now, and there it goes. So now we got the result of the auction. I feel 184.14. Watch out for mean reversion. This has happened before where we get that, what we think is an initial pump, and then what we end up getting is a retracement as we are a little bit right now. Some candles of indecision showing up here both on the Fuge and on some of these Mag 7 names. I'm talking about Softy. I'm talking about Apple right now. The 5-minute looks, even Google, the 5-minute candles of them, very much doji candles, candles of indecision. Even on the Fuge, are a skosh above 18.2, very much undecided in what direction. So packing my patience. I'm happy I didn't get into this Apple long now. If we hold 184, before the auction because of the bamboozlement. So it looks like we're gonna take 0.75% here on AAPL. Jay Lee, rocket candles now. Yeah, man, that's what it looks like here on Apple and on Amazon. You're seeing big boy candles show up. Not really much else though in the Mag 7. I mean, I can show you guys. You probably have it on yourselves, but you're getting big moves up here in the Amazonian, Ram, and Apple as well. You're getting nice moves up, but decent pop up there for Meta. It looks like we popped up 474 in the third into 475 and change now, so not a bad look. Let's set up a dip trade now on the dead one and see if we can get 05s. I'm so frugal. I can't help myself. I always have to have a deal.
But
right?
It's hard sometimes with trading because you can't always get the deal because then
I know,
it always messes
you're right.
Me up.
I know.
No, I'm just saying because I'm the same way. I told you I'm always too conservative. The word I use is I'm too conservative. Is I want to save money so I don't get in where I should be getting in. So then I miss the nice spicy opportunities here.
Right.
I have to get out of these SOX L's because we tried to get a little bit foxy with Soxy here and it moved a little too fast for me. Bye SOX L. Yeah, we still down on the day. Did lose some of the, I can't say gains, but did lose some of the stuff that we made back a little bit earlier with those stock sell trades. But I'm happy I took them. I saw stuff I liked. Didn't work out. It's okay. I'm trying, each day, you got to take things one day at a time. Shout out to that Enrique Iglesias and Akon song from like 2011, which what a weird combo. But yeah, got to take things one day at a time. Just got to keep going, keep learning. Am I proud of what I did today? For the most part, no, but I'm happy I kept going, kept rising, got that dirt off my shoulders and kept going. Thank you, Day Trader Cut, for giving us that 30-year bond. So it was slightly lower than expected, 4.635 versus 4.671 previous. So slight dip, and that might be why we didn't get a massive reaction. We got a little bit of a pop, then we got a little, we're literally just topping and turning here for the most part. So that makes sense. Thank you very much to Day Trader Cut. Hopefully you're making a cut today as a day trader.
Clearly.
Please just punch. Shout out to you. Thank you so much. Kazro saying, Adara, what do you think of NVIDIA chart right now for Friday? I mean, I don't know, with NVIDIA, I got to be honest with you, Kazro, we still have 3 hours left in the day. NVIDIA could do a plethora of things before then. So I literally couldn't tell you. But right now, oh my God, this is gorgeous. Right now I can tell you we have higher lows and we're trying to break that top of 895. I think right now, to me, an 895 break could be very beautiful on NVIDIA. I think we clearly have some support at 883 from earlier today. Now, I know that doesn't really help you much, unfortunately, with Friday, but I think with NVIDIA, you can't even take things one day at a time with NVIDIA. You have to take things 1 second at a time. When I used to trade NVIDIA on the sim, I traded on the 1 minute. I charted on the 5, but I traded on the 1.
Really?
Because with NVIDIA, you have to, I think, to some extent, if you're taking short-term moves, because NVIDIA is the captain, is the king, the colonel of short-term movement. Now, NVIDIA, I think this 920 area continues to be really spicy on the daily chart. We've had a couple times where we've either where we've closed there, closed green, opened red, closed green. So I think this is an interesting level there for me for NVIDIA 920. That being said, we've also had a lot of support. I mentioned that 883. That's going to be a little bit of support on the daily chart as well, a bit of resistance. So I think that 883 continues to be interesting. 883 to 920 is the general range of areas I'd be looking for tomorrow. So hope that helps. Yeah, but like I said with NVIDIA, it's a bit hard to tell levels until it smacks you in the face with them. Right now, though, we're going to get that lesson started in a moment. How is Apple going?
It's still 8 pennies out of the money. It's trying to defend this 184 level. I've put my stop in the low 90s. So I've given it what I believe is enough room. We'll see if that ends up being right or wrong. But I want to mention this one right here. Amazon, wow. Wow, bro. Amazon's having a day here. And especially, I don't think we have a specific catalyst, right? There was no Amazon specific catalyst. Yeah, all-time high, Katina, man, obviously. But yeah, really, I'm just making sure that there's nothing here for the Amazonian in the blotter. Not that I can see, but who cares when you look like this, man? Wow, all-time highs on AMZN, 191.64. What a move up, 1.89%. It's at high, so it's a blue sky setup. There's nothing to chart at these here levels, so you're going to have to use your technicals. It's looked good on the 5. I mean, look, for the majority of the time, the 10 period, which is the green line on my chart, has held up. At times where it didn't, look at the 20 period, it caught whatever the 10 period couldn't catch and helped propel it back up. So Amazon has been an absolute monster on the day. Like say from 950 onwards, it's been printing higher highs. So we'll keep tabs on the Amazonian right now, but we are 3 pennies out of the money now on the dead one Apple. As it's trying to hold up above 184, the future is coming into highs. We're 18,237, we're printing 229s. So we'll see exactly what we get here. My stop is already in place on AAPL. So not much more for me to do other than watch to see whether I'm going to make or lose money on it. Gorev, Amazon was a blue sky setup. It is a blue sky setup. 191.64 HOD, that's where it's printing right now, and that's all-time high until we print a little bit above that, and then that'll be all-time high. All right, so keeping an eye on that. What else are we talking about here, guys? Why did stocks jump? Asks John Kim. We had a bond auction. Typically after the bond auction, usually a couple minutes after that, John, we have some not short-term, but market fluctuations, either to the high side or the low side, depending on how the auction was received. So just make sure you have that in your economic calendar before you day trade, because you have to know about all these intraday events. Jay Lee. KRE jumped about 10 cents on the auction, but in my humble opinion, this is still going to end up weaker when smaller banks start taking big losses from write-downs on commercial real estate. Jay, I echo that sentiment. I really do think we still haven't seen the worst of the commercial real estate issue, but I think that we may have some mitigating circumstances here where I think it's really restricted to certain banks. Okay, so I have to talk about Apple now, because Apple is coming down here, breaking through 184, and so I could get stopped out here if we continue to go into the low 90s. I've given myself a 94 or 92 stop there. We'll see if it's able to reclaim that 184 quite quickly, but yeah, however this one ends up, we're just gonna accept kind of the result of that. But Jay Lee, yeah, look, I agree with you. On that, I just feel like we've been talking about this commercial real estate issue since March of 2023, and we really haven't seen too much about it. Now, I don't know exactly what they're doing south of the border, but here, they're talking about refitting a lot of this stuff. So especially in Midtown, Jay, where a lot of the commercial real estate vacancies are higher. You don't have as much issues with the downtown commercial real estate, but the Midtown, Uptown kind of stuff, that's where we're having some issues. So. Yeah, good luck for you there, Jay, to know about the macros and the look with commercial real estate there.
Yeah, we're going to get into the lesson du jour. I was going to take this pop off the TQs. TQs are like, Dara, you have a lesson to do? I'm going to run without you. And I was like, you know what, TQs, I respect that. Keeping me on my toes there. Keeping me accountable. So I wanted 83s, and then TQs were like, we're going to jump 5 pennies. You have to go talk now, and maybe we'll give you a range when we come back. But no, I like this level because that was that previous resistance using support. And TQs were like, Dara, stop talking about me. You have things to do. So yeah, cool, good times. Let's get into the lesson of the day. Not Neil's lesson of the day, but our lesson of the day, which is going to be buying the dip, more specifically in new listings. So IPOs, SPACs, and direct listings. Also, Affirm just made a nice breakout. I just saw it on my side chart. Just shout out to Affirm, confirming the longs there. So let's say you see a hot IPO or a SPAC mooning after opening, and then it takes a nosedive. Your pulse quickens. Is this the intraday dip you've been waiting for? Insert the Hallmark violins in the background here. This lesson will explore the fast-paced, exciting, intense world of intraday dip buying with IPOs, SPACs, and direct listings. So why would you buy the dip? Why the dip? Because there's a couple different reasons. For one, it's exploiting volatility, because new listings are little playgrounds of volatility, little stocks running around like children on the swings, and so dips can be fleeting overreactions, which give you quick entry and exit opportunities. Emphasis on quick, because these things can move in the blink of an eye. Also, though, momentum swings are worth noting too, because a strong opening can be followed by profit taking, creating temporary dips before the price potentially regains momentum. And so here's an example. This is on the SPX. This is not on an IPO, but just an example here. You had that nice little support around that 32,000 level, and you had a couple opportunities to get the dip off of it. And this also shows confluence with dips and previous support. Again, you're not always going to get stuff like that in IPOs, as we talked about earlier in the week, because levels don't always exist. But the point is, like, dips can sometimes form at key areas, and they're worth watching out for. Dip or disaster? Is it going to be a dip, or is it going to be a bit more of a dip-zaster there? You want to note the difference, differentiate between a buying opportunity and a sinking ship. Is it a dip, or is it a sinking ship? So short-term catalysts are worth noting. Did you have a news headline triggering the dip? Is it likely to be a short-term blip or a sign of deeper issues, especially with these IPOs? People are going to react very quickly. There's a lot of people involved sometimes on day one, day two, etc. So you want to make sure you are prepared. Technical indicators are worth noting as well. So what are you looking at in the moving averages? Are we seeing an uptrend reversal, potential trend reversal, or simply a healthy pullback within an uptrend? What's happening in the order book is I love looking at the order book because it gives you a sense of supply and demand. I'm not like an expert tape reader like Obi or anything, but like I love looking at the book because, and Obi and I've talked about this as well in the midday, it does give you a sense of what's moving. Are there certain areas we really are clinging to? Someone sees a certain area that he's clinging to, so we'll have to hear from him later, because to say someone's pleased as apple punch would be an understatement. And yes, pun intended there. But yeah, the order book can be a huge key, and that's why sometimes if I see stuff, like I talked about that Roblox short earlier that I got out of because I saw stuff in the book I didn't like. So with an IPO, that's going to be even more key.
Bang.
So here's some examples. I love the little commentary here. So sometimes dip buys don't work out. You think you have a dip, but it didn't work out. Then you got another dip opportunity, but that one worked out. So there can be fake outs. You want to make sure you're getting an actual dip and you're not buying into a downtrend. Because, we know that the markets love to be bamboozling, so you just got to be prepared. Let's talk about the step-by-step to the dip dance and getting these dips in the market.
Gotta get to you, girl. The big kahunas are singing too, man.
Good times. But so first you want to talk about your pre-market prep. So you want to start by identifying potential IPOs, SPACs, or direct listings with high pre-market interest. Look into the company, have your watch list ready. It could be a sticky note like Sean. It could be the side charts like Sharif. It could be a random Google document like myself, but make sure you have a way of seeing the stocks you like and levels you want. Also, spot the dip. So once you've looked at your stock that you like, monitor the opening price action. You want to see a sharp decline with increasing selling volume, but not a complete meltdown. Are we seeing support? Like if it's a day two IPO, are you seeing any kind of support that we're kind of buoyed off, resting on, sitting pretty near that you can play off of? That's what we want to look for. Now you also want to look for support and resistance if it exists. If the price dips near a previously established support level or historical buying zone, that might be a good time to enter. Confirmation signals are always really important, especially in IPOs when you want all the confirmation you can get, because those things, they'll IPO and they'll IPO. So you want to be very cognizant and aware of what's going on there. Look for indicators like a bullish RSI divergence. If the price keeps falling, for example, but the price starts to ride, that could be a sign of a potential reversal. You also want to look for a quick entry and exit. You want to be here today, gone tomorrow. Shout out to that Drake song, Pound Cake. But intraday dips are good for click scalps. You want to have a clear profit target. For example, like 2 to 3%.
I just got it.
Yeah, here today, gone tomorrow.
Yeah, wow, I just actually got that.
I listened to that on repeat for like weeks after that song came out. Nothing was the same after that album, for real.
Yeah, it was such a good beat, too.
And then when they switched it up for Parasport music, too. Anyways, I'm going to stop waxing poetic about Drake, but I accidentally made that reference, so I had to shout that out. But yeah, so you also want to shout out your quick entry and exit for that reason, because they can't be here today and gone tomorrow. So these are really going to be intraday dips for quick scalps. Have your clear profit target and a stop loss order set to limit potential losses. Bonus dip tip. I love the way this is written. So size is really important. You do not have too big of a position size, because then you can get a little bit lost. I did that. I did that on purpose, and I don't care. I'm not apologetic about it because it's funny. Also, the fact that we went over this twice and Neil only noticed now. The best part. This is time 3.
It's funny. I mean, come on. We have to have fun on the show. We're up for 3. Wow. I didn't say it. I love Neil, man. He's killing it. There it is.
Neil's in a great mood. Neil's living his best life with his coffee, dropping hot lines. But yeah, so basically you want to keep your trades small. and in multiples. I've talked about that even like in earnings plays or today, even in Celsius. You have to make sure, and these aren't IPOs, so imagine the volatility in IPOs. You want to make sure you have positions that you're comfortable managing. Also, the news flow is king. You want to make sure that you're staying glued to real-time news to understand what may be driving the price action. And always, people talk a lot about edge. And one thing, too, I've noticed since live trading is I've always been trying to have conversations, even more so with traders in the back as well.
Oh, yeah.
And I think the edge is really key, and I think finding your edge is really important. But so your edge can be discipline. That was not my edge today, let me tell you, but especially in IPOs, you really want to have that edge. Stick to your predefined entry and exit points. Don't go chasing waterfalls. Don't go chasing losses or get greedy and hold on for too long. Waterfalls, stick to the levels and the patterns you're used to.
Okay. Now somebody's hitting the notes. Okay.
A little skosh. But yeah, so always remember, too, that intraday buying the dip is a high-risk, high-reward strategy. Volatility can be your friend or your foe. Just try to make it your friend by being disciplined, having plans involved. Also, I'm so happy you got that Drake reference because I was like, that was kind of a shot in the dark.
That was actually really
good. That made me pleased as punch because I love that song. Thank you. Well, how was Apple and Amazon going?
Not bad. Apple's doing well, but Amazon's giving me a little bit of trouble. I'm long at 21s. Now we're at 20s. Okay. The idea here on Amazon is quite simple. Am I good, Fabian? Or okay. It's quite simple. Whether or not it pans out, an entirely different story. Look, it's been very strong, and I've made this case several times. The more shallow retracements come into the 10, the deeper retracements come in to the 20. So I'm looking for, I guess, a shallow retracement here. So I'm looking for a 10 hold up and pop. That's what I'm going to see. If it happens on the Amazon, we'll just basically the stops are in play and the profit takers are in play. Is it stop in play? Let me just double check on that. Are we good with the stop? Yeah, we're good with the stop, so we can let that one do its thing. Now, the one here on Apple, a little bit more, I don't want to call it bamboozling, but just it's not that kind of breakout style stock. Even though we took 184 and it seems like we're bouncing off 184, we're getting these bottoming tail candles off an area of previous resistance. Now it looks like current support. It's not exploding to the high side like, an NVIDIA would or maybe a Meta. So I'm trying to pack my patience with this one. I'm long at 05s. Okay, so it looks like I got stopped out of Amazon there as it did break down into that level. So no go on that Amazon trade. But wow, Apple just popped up. What the hell just happened with Apple? So I lose on one and you make on another. Something just went awry there with Apple. It just rocketed into 184.60. I was talking about this one. I mean, how bad does this thing make me look? I'm just sitting here talking about it saying it doesn't rocket to the upside. Say that again, Neil.
Oh.
Apple to use its own chips to power AI. That's coming in on... NVIDIA tanked on that news when Apple was retracing now. So the market bamboozlement is fast and it is furious right here. Right down we go on 184. I'm happy with the prints that I got. I didn't get top wick. I didn't get anything near top wick. Top wick was almost 60. We ended up getting out at 25s. But look at it fighting again at 184. So big boy moves here. I see you, Darwin. Apple AI chip news. Thank you again, Darwin, for that. As soon as I get it on my blotter, and I still haven't gotten it yet, I will bring it to you guys and let you know. Neil got it because he always gets it quicker on, I don't know if he's getting it there. Yeah, it is. He's listening to Squawk. So he had the earpiece on. Right above, well, I was just about to say right above 184 goes Apple, was at 12s, and then I opened my mouth and it was at 2s. So Apple getting awfully, volatile here off these levels of dare.
Yeah, I mean, something definitely happened there in Apple. So we're going to find out the exact details of what happened there, the happening in Apple. But right, yeah, so it's from what I've seen, a couple headlines here. The Apple leaves its own chip to cloud to power AI features in 2024. Thank you, Day Trader Cut. Thank you, Neil, for that. Also, thank you, Affirm, question mark. And I say question mark because it hasn't done anything for me yet. But, like, come on. These bounces off that 33.55, that top of 33.50, do I want all the smoke? Yes, I do. Come on, Affirm. If we break below here into I didn't even want to risk this much just because I honestly can't really afford to. Today's not been my day. I like this wick though into 25s. I like that top into 25s. We'll risk 10 pennies on this. I can live with that. But I can't live with that until I've been added to the position. So Affirm, time's ticking. I want to get involved. And honestly, I haven't had great trades today, but I've learned a lot. And I think that's really key. And also, I mean, hopefully I can apply what I've learned. Mind you, that's always the next step. But this is also upsetting me because I should have gotten short back into the cake short. Should have eaten some more cake there. Should have pulled up Marie Antoinette, been like, letting them eat cake and taken that short, because that 36.60 short I was talking about did actually come in. Actually, no, sorry, it didn't. It came to like 36. But the point is, we had these lower highs, lower lows, and I didn't get back involved. So that's on me. I took an L there just by not getting back involved. Happy I got out where I did, though, because I know I initially said I did want that area we're coming into now, but I absolutely would not have wanted that retest of VWAP. So you make decisions you make your bed, you eat your cake, and you have to lie in it. So affirm, please let me get filled. I cannot go chasing waterfalls given after what happened with the Celsius. However, Celsius is actually getting spicy for me again. You might be like, Adara, why is this the sip you want to take to make an energy drink pun here after having some losses on this? But it's like, you can't, and Neil's had lessons of the day about this, you can't let like bad trades on names before get you down if there's levels you like. Now look at this. We had that move to the downside. Look where we're finding some support. Oh, that's right. That area that we bounced off earlier, that was also resistance. If we keep bouncing at 55s, I think there is a long here. And I think these failed wicks to the downside repeatedly confirm that. So I do want all the smoke. I do want all the caffeine in the energy drink. I can't really take it because like I said, not a great day. Took, a couple too many cuts there earlier on Celsius. So I want to be cognizant, though, if there's a setup I'm obsessed with, if we see that move to the upside with the viciousness, swiftness et al., then I want to get involved. I really want to get involved, and I don't want to stop myself because of previous bad trades, because I think that's not conducive to anything positive either. It's a fun world in trading. Yesterday described the markets as like, an on and off relationship. Certainly today, we're not getting along. I think it kicked me to the curb a little bit. But you know what? That means I just got to get back in his good graces tomorrow.
Good. All right. Stopped out of my AMZN trade. 0 for 2 on that one. Tried that one again over here, and it kept going down. So I tried on the 20, I tried on the 10. Neither one was forthcoming. That's all I'm going to do with that one. Long Apple again. We'll see what we can get. A nice move here. We're already 10 pennies in the money on this one. Let's see if we can pap up into that 184.69-ish area. That's where we had an initial area of resistance, and there it goes. Go Apple. So now the calmness here, we've digested the news. Now the market looks like it may want to pump Apple here. Look, we went up last time on Apple on this whole, we're building our own AI chips for data centers. Now, it seems to be very chip related, anything that's a good catalyst for this name. So we'll keep eyes on it. I'm going to try to hold the remaining amount here in case we really do trend, because if the market digests this and you start getting some big boy money buying in, well, then we could pump up here into 186 or something like that, 185. So I'm trying to pack my patience for this remainder of the Apple trade. Nicely in the money now. We're knocking on the door of 40s here. Don't forget that we wicked up into 59. So, I don't think it's wrong to want to make it back up into that wick. So if you're aiming for 59 as your beak wet or your profit target, I don't think you really have I don't think you're really wrong on that. Into the mid 40s we go. We're long 19s. Let's see if we can get that mid 50 print. We're not too far away from it now. We're about 10 shekels away, and I hear some clapping, and I'm happy for her. We'll send it to her in 1 second. I just want to see if we can get that mid-50 print soon, because Apple here, the volume really picking up on this, and you can see the tape. Just the fact that the tape is moving differently should, alert you to the fact that something's afoot. Here's 50. Now we're knocking the door of 50, and there's a decent size here. Shout out to Ramram, I guess, who did that. Or was that you, Neil? It was Neil. I know Neil has that one on his stream deck. We're knocking the door of 50 here. Nobody's opened the door quite yet, but the door was opened earlier when we got into 59s. So let's see if we can make it back into 59s. Right now, just a skosh below the $0.50 Adara. What did you do over there?
Yeah, I was just clapping at a firm. And it was a premature clap a little bit.
It's all good.
We're still a couple pennies in the money, but I was like, ooh, we're really going to firm up here to the upside. And instead, it kind of became a little bit infirm back around the 40s. I want to be getting out here at 48s with some of the positions. But I do want to keep a piece for the dream. And you know why?
I like that.
Because I do. I just do. I think we could have that top break. We've had wicks to the upside from there. I think we have some strength, some hustle. Also, Celsius, once again, being King Bamboozler of Bamboozler Island, I said I think this is long, and I didn't get involved. Why didn't I get involved? Like, Adara, shame, for shame. But you know what? We're not going to shame ourselves too hard because we can keep having these opportunities. If we come back, rest around this 80s area, I want all the energy drinks.
Nice.
Oh, well, all the smokes, but you know what I mean. Also, this is pretty funny. I had to laugh at this. At John Szymanski in the chat, Adara talking about energy drinks ×2 is priceless. And yeah, so I thought it was pretty funny. I can imagine that would be pretty entertaining.
I love it.
Shout out to you, John Szymanski, great participant in the chat. You know what's not a great participant though is Affirm getting its way up to that 3350 area. Yes, I'm talking to you, girl. Affirm, you know what I said.
Get it together, Affirm.
Please do, firm up. That's all I'm trying to say here. But yeah, short NVDL 3840 is Jay Lee. So let's look at NVDL. Okay, 3840, yeah, I see right below VWAP. That's nice. Look, hopefully you take an NVDW on that one, Jay. This is actually kind of a rangy move. I think initially NVDL was on my side chart, then it got booted for probably Affirm, probably some Celsius mistakes. But yeah, NVDL might have to go back on the side chart. Shout out to you there, Jay Lee. Hopefully you are printing it up. And with that, you know, hopefully having an NVDW there. Come on, Affirm. Let's give that a win.
I like it.
But yeah, hopefully you are still. People were calling it Pample in the chat. So how is Pample treating you?
It's not bad. I like that, Pample. We're back into 40s, Adara. We did dip ever so briefly into the upper 20s there, but right back into the 40s we go. I don't know, man. There's nothing, obviously, that I know that you guys don't know. I just have a feeling we trend here on Apple for a little bit. It's a chip headline. We all know how chips have been doing lately as a group. All the hype has been with the chips. Apple has not had an AI story. We haven't heard much about them with anything really about chips, obviously, except the M4 that came out the other day. But we'll see. We'll see. So I'm just going to leave this position to do its thing, 21, come what may. So I would like to print into the mid to high 50s, but that may not be forthcoming. Now, I keep coming back to Amazon. I don't know, I'm cruising for a bruising or something here. I'm not really sure why I'm obsessed with Amazon. It's like I have to get the trade right on it, even though that has no bearing on P&L. But I'm keeping an eye here on 191. So initially, 191 was a level of resistance. So look at this. Pop into 191, we reject, and we end up taking on the second occasion. Now we're kind of rejecting off 191. So if 191 doesn't get reclaimed quickly here, could we be taking a short here on Amazon off 191? I know it's really a counter trend trade. We're up 1.5%, but every time we're wicking into this 191 area, we're finding some resistance. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if I want to jump into the short on Amazon here. Perhaps I could wait for a bottom break through 70, and that's not going to be that long, about 8 pennies till that time. So Amazon's giving it up here. It looks like, at least for the moment, giving up off the highs, 191.70. Now we're down into 190.70, so about a buck off the top. VWAP on this one is at 190, so that's great. The $10 level VWAP, they conflate. It's a good look. So possibly here, if you're going to short at these levels, 190 is where you want to wet your beak. I'm not saying to short right now. I'm just saying that if you were looking, that's another interesting area of support. 190 on AMZN. Yeah, that short's printing right now. Look at this. About to break 70s here. Not a bad look here on Amazon. So I may have had this one wrong. All right, whatever. Apple back into the 40s we go. I'm going to wait to the mid 50s before I put anything out. Let's go and hang out at 55. What's life without whimsy? We're going to sit there at 55 waiting for a profit taker. Now, some other stock. Oh, wow, Amazon. Oh, wow, Amazon. Does it bounce off this level? I just want to watch this for a bit here.
Bounce Amazon.
I don't want it to bounce it there. I'm
sorry.
thinking maybe we'll take a short off these levels over here. I know it's not my style of trade where I usually go with the trend. If something's up 1.5%, I'm usually going long, not short. But yeah, maybe I should just stick to my rules here and not get short at these levels. Yeah, I'm just going to stay clear of that. Anyway, I wanted to point out a possible flat top on Meta, which seems to be a bit of a range trade here for whoever's interested. So for whatever reason, 47.50, 47 1/3 to 47 1/2. Sorry, 475 1/3 to 475 1/2 seems to be a local area top. Every time you make it up there, it seems to reject. Now, initially, you did break through it. But look where the closing prints are on these top wicking candles. I'm talking about that 1120, 1125, and 1130 candles on the 5. They got into the high of day, 475 and 3/4. But alas, look where the prints are. They're all below that $0.50. So for 475.50 on META, a local area of resistance, I would say have a resting order at that area, because what ends up happening is that it puts you higher in priority in line if you are first for that order. If you want to punch in, once it gets to that price, you're going to be in later in the priority line, so you may not get filled. And so this is an interesting area possibly to get short here on the Meta. So I'm going to pull up Meta on a trading screen, and I'm going to have it up because I want to see exactly, you know, what type of trade we can take here off the 1. Let's have a look. So, you know, to be a bit more aggressive, you're going to have to probably have it in the 40s. Last time it didn't make its way into the 50s, or it topped out at the 50. So you may not get filled there. So maybe high 30s, low 40s. I put my resting short trade, I guess. That's kind of what I'm trying to say there. Let's go ahead and see what we can get there. Daryl, I'll send it to you.
Yeah, so the reason I was like, bounce Amazon is, and this is embarrassing to admit, for a second I read that Apple is AMZN.
Oh.
And I was like, oh, he's long Amazon, let's bounce. So that's, like, to be 100% honest, that's what happened.
I got you.
But also, I really, I love the I'm cruising for a bruising, because I feel that way with what I was doing with Celsius as well. But I also think that's, like, important to notice. Sometimes it's like we have our pride get in the way of the P&L.
Bang.
Because that's absolutely what happened with Celsius. I was like very upset at myself. I was like, you know, what's P&L CS? I just want to keep taking the Celsius to feel better about how I didn't do as well in it earlier. But it's like, Adara, that's not a strategy. And to be clear, I was really pleased this bunch with some of the early trades I took in it. This was such a chasey. This was like, you know, call it Chase Crawford. This was a chase over here. Me trying to get long, though, at that 85.60s. I really, you know, I didn't get long. I wasn't able to get filled there at 12 p.m. and then that's why I was all like, I have to get involved in it. That's just not how you trade. So I just want to say I really second that, and I think it's a huge thing in trading. I did get half the position out of my Affirm. I don't feel like, you know, 100% firmly confident, but I feel confident enough that we're still within this range. I want to stay in this position. If we, I'd like to see us continue to bounce here. I don't want to get out too early. I really want to shout out again DJK in the chat yesterday saying, you know, if you don't feel confident in a position, get out. I'm still comfortable in my Affirm. Would I wish it would go higher? Oh, sure, but Affirm heard me talk about that. It's like, oh, Adara, you just wanted me to pump a little bit? Cool, I'll go. So thank you, Affirm. Much appreciated. You're a real one for that. I am still, as much as I wish I wasn't, I'm still watching Celsius, because Celsius is getting into kind of an interesting range here. Look at this. Look at where we had this rejection. That's right. At that previous little pop area at 85.20s. I think there's something here. I think the range might be too tight, though, given the spread on this. I think this is becoming like an Eli Lilly situation where I keep wanting to look at a stock with a large spread that I'm not powerful enough to control. So we might have to turn off the heat on that stove there again on Celsius. That just might not be a vibe for me. Main thing, though, is that Affirm, which I'm pleased to punch about, and I'm also happy I didn't punch out of that too early. That cake short might be coming back to fruition, too, because we come back into 36.20. Look at that little wick. To me, A, we have that wick here into 36.20 that rejects. B, look at that wick down. Okay. Yeah, if we come back to 20s, I think we're going to have to get short there. So for all the random sounds, I was intensely I guess I was munching on this cake, you know, like parsing through the chart. I think there's some opportunities here. Want to take another look at Roblox, Robinhood, but also I want to smile a little bit at Affirm.
Bang.
So I'm just going to take a moment to smile because I'm happy. And I'm mostly just proud I didn't give up, because there were times today where I was like, I never want to trade again. I've humiliated myself, blah, blah, blah. You just got to keep on keeping on, I guess. How's it going?
Donald John Trump is on the way up 7%. And what $50 level, Adara? That's gone. $50 was gone a long time ago, Ram at 10:30. This thing is pumping up here. 53, I believe 33 HOD. That I think is wrong. Let me just enter DJT over here. There we go. So the high a day, 53.30, 53.58. We're at 53.39 right now. Great look up there for DJT. What's the volume on this monster? We've done a decent amount, not great. 4.69 million, almost 4.7 million shares. Look, here's what I see. I see it absolutely hugging the 10 EMA on the 5-minute. Wow, Apple. So I just got printed bigly there as it broke through the $0.50 Adara, and now we're done that Apple trade. Apple, big move up through the $0.50, 184.59. Apple on the chip news there for whatever they're going to do. Neil, what was exactly the chip news again? It's probably came in on my thing. Here it is. Thank you. Apple to use own chips in cloud. Oh, cloud, that's it. To power AI features in 2024. That's all we're getting? That's all Bloomberg's going to give us? Oh, come on, Bloomy. Yeah, I only have 2 entries in there, and that's all we get from there. So great move up for Apple. Happy I'm done with this trade, but we'll obviously keep tabs on it and see if there's more trades to be had here. But Donald John Trump is doing big boy things. Let's pull up DJT over here. 8 1/3 now. As I was 7 something. Now it's 8 1/3. This thing has been beautiful off the 10 period on the 5. That's how I'd get into it. The spread is a little wild though. Okay. So as I look at it right now, it's not that bad. 10 pennies. 10 pennies. It was wider before. It was like 35 when I looked at it last. New high of day. So there goes DJT doing things, baby. Almost 9% to the good now on Donald John Trump. Keep your eye out for that. Yeah, I'm going to have to load that up on a side screen here because, well, it's doing things. So let's put that up. And that is on the NASDAQ, by the way, guys. Don't forget that. I also have this dip trade for a short setup on Meta. I don't know how long I'm going to leave this out for. It's at 475 below 40. I have it at 38s or 39s just so that I could front run that crest over there. But the longer this stays, like the longer we go on, the less I like this trade because we get into the more volatile time period, 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock start coming around and more buy and sell orders start coming in. So if you're trying to play the range through the more stable time of the day during the midday, that may not end up panning out in the later time of the day. So I don't know how long I'm going to have this trade on there for, but I'll keep it on for now as I think it's still valid. DJT's going, guys. It's continuing to go 9% now. It's about to knock on the door of 54. Trade this carefully because it's bamboozling, okay? Let's just put it up there. It's a tough one to trade. Be careful with it. Make sure you're position sized properly and you're using proper stop losses and all that shebang.
Yeah, part of our lesson of the day. Also, because it says a lot about Meta that for a second there, I did think you were talking about Meta. Like, make sure you have your position size. This one can be a bamboozler.
Yeah, well, they're both.
Yeah, right? That's why it's funny because it took me a second because I'm like, that's how crazy Meta is. But hopefully your Meta works out there and you're able to get involved. Also, shout out to your Apple trade. That's awesome.
I appreciate you, Adara.
I'm happy for you to happy with Apple. It worked better in my head. But also, yeah, Elon, lots of people in the chat, they're shouting you out. So shout out to Sharif.
Thank you, guys.
I want to take another look at Mara. Not something I have a trade on, but just kind of lower highs here below VWAP. We have earnings tonight, which I will give you with Neil on the market recap. Tonight, clean. Okay, clean spark. This is sparking my interest. And you might be like, why? Okay, we had that area earlier, around 17. Resistance. Then we break above it, then we come back low. Look where we were sitting pretty and resting. That's right, 17. Siri, I'm not talking to you.
She's really rude, eh?
She's like, here's what I found. I'm like, girl, thank you, but no. So yeah, I think this, I like the 17 area. I think this actually could be a bounce off 17.
That's a great look.
On clean spark.
That's a good look. And I like those bottoming tail candles to show you that some people were stepping in. They're seeing what you're seeing.
I really like this. I want to give this a moment to settle out because there also are some topping tail candles. This one's going in both directions, but I'm pretty sure I'll end up having a clean move into clean spark. Hopefully, I did get out of a firm. We were starting a little bit at 50s. Maybe I was a bit overzealous to get out here, but I was just like, you know what, Adara? Take your profit and be pleased as punch. I did, and I am. Happy with what I did in this trade. Needed a couple good trades. Traded way too many names today. That might be the biggest issue with how my trading is today. But that reminds me, let's take a look at Starbucks. Starbucks has literally been the range of the day, but it's been such a hard one to play because it gives you less than 20 pennies. The amount of size you'd have to take for this is not really my cup of soup. That being said, I think right now is an opportunity for us to take that pop off 75.20. So you know what? We're going to.
Bang.
We're gonna have that caramel macchiato, sip that, and hopefully take that to the downside. Yeah, really just happy again always to be here trading with everybody, learning each day. Today was a rough one, but you know, that's just a good opportunity to learn and grow.
Did you hear me ask Ram earlier if she wanted Starbucks?
I did.
And what was her answer?
No. Pretty firm, no.
That's what I kind of wondered. Is everything okay with Ram? Like, she doesn't want Starbucks. What's going on over there, Ram?
I don't know if she's super partial to Starbucks.
Oh, well, hold on. I wasn't the one that wanted the $10 Starbucks. Though,
Oh.
right? Like, that's the thing. Like,
No, I'm just
it was
trying to figure,
her.
'cause I know she's like
What do you mean?
different
Hold on.
brands.
There are different brands
some people have
involved.
different, like,
Ram,
brands
what
of
else do you
coffee.
like?
Remember one time she was talking to about me with matcha? I don't know.
I've seen a lot of advertisements around matcha. What is this matcha thing?
What is this matcha thing?
Yeah, like I've been seeing it everywhere. Some pylons everywhere.
So matcha.
I love how I aggravated you there. Like, what is
love
matcha?
So matcha, I mean, there's like different types of brands of it or whatever, but matcha.
Is it caffeine?
Yeah, it's a green tea. That's my
Excellent.
favorite caffeine. I love it. It's beautiful. It's heavenly. It's like gets you caffeinated without giving you a rush. And
Really?
Yeah, I love, or at least it works for me really well. But it's an acquired taste.
Huh.
Especially because I like it with like no sugar. I like just the matcha. I like that dirt grass taste. So yeah, it's a fun taste.
It's a green drink, I'm assuming.
It is a green tea.
Right? So, the green tea is cool, but the grass,
Oh, it is a green.
like a greener-ish, like does it have
'Cause
like
it's
veggies
powder.
and stuff? Oh.
It's literally just a tea powder.
I see, okay. Interesting.
It's a fun one. I like it.
All right.
Shout out to, yeah, it is green. Elon putting it way more simply than I did. It's literally just green tea.
Okay.
But yeah.
I gotta give this a try.
Good time.
Because all I see is on downtown Toronto, on the pylons in front of these places, matcha this, matcha that, right? So gotta get in.
Matcha,
You gotta
matcha,
find out.
matcha.
Yeah. Jay Lee, matcha is a Brazilian thing, I'm guessing. Yeah, okay.
Oh no,
Sounds
that's
good.
maca.
That's
Maca's
maca.
Brazilian. Matcha's Japanese.
Yeah, M-A-T-C-H-A, right? Matcha?
Japanese, yeah.
Okay. Well, there you go. So you guys heard it here first. Eddie R, Adara Sharif, that explains it. Tea and caffeine, baby. Yes, I have a caffeine limit, and there's a reason why I have a caffeine limit is because, it just gives me the jitters, and then you can't really function. Yeah, like, and the last caffeine cup I have is 10:30.
Oh yeah,
right?
I
I'll
wish I
sip
could live like that.
Yeah, no, I'm not doing that. I used to live like that. I used to live off energy drinks.
Yeah, you told that. What was it? It
Rock
starts with an
star.
R. No,
Relentless. That was in England, though. That was the best
one.
energy drink ever. Anyway, all right. So keeping an eye on Meta, guys, because I still want to see if this flat top area at 475.5-ish is going to act as that local area of resistance like it's been essentially all day on Meta. So I'm looking short still. My order has gone unfilled for the last, I would say, I put it out about 20 minutes ago. Here it comes, though. We just popped up about a couple of pennies below my entry. I'm sitting at 38s, and that came into 36s. So that was awfully close here on META, waiting for a possible fill. It's the only other trade that I've really got in my purview at the moment. I know I finished yapping about DJT, and it is continuing to go. Now we're talking about 10%, 9.46, knocking on the door of 54 bucks. This was 7 and change when we started talking about a good move here for Donald John Trump, as that trial has been well underway, and we'll see exactly what comes of that. I'm assuming there's going to probably be more volatility the day he takes a stand. He still hasn't taken a stand, so we'll keep tabs on that for the purposes, obviously, of Donald John Trump, the stock, not
Like
Donald.
that you call it by its proper name.
Yeah, DJT. It's just funny. I mean, like, okay.
He named after him.
Yes, it's just perfect for him, right? Anyway, keeping an eye on Meta at these levels and DJT. I don't think I'm going to trade DJT just because it's getting a little bit late. There's about 14 minutes left on the show. And yeah, it's just up and to the right. The way that I would look to get into DJT, and I made this point very clearly earlier, is on the 5-minute here. It is hugging the 10 period. That green solid line on my chart is the 10 exponential moving average, and there is no candle that closed below the 10 today since essentially 10:30 onwards. That's when the move started coming in. The volume really started pumping at 10:30, and then you can see that 10:35, even more volume, about 250,000 shares per candle there on DJT. We'll keep eyes on that.
Yeah, I just took that Starbucks there. We still have part of the position in. Also, I shout out to Elon saying we want matcha candles in our stock. That's true. We do want green candles in our stock. But right now in this short, I want red. I want that red velvet cake pop. I want that move to the downside. I want that viciousness here. I did get some of this out early around 75.15 because that was the area we were topping and churning around. I still have half the position in, and I do want that 75.10. That has been a level and a half throughout the day. So if you want to give that to me, Starbucks, I'd be pleased as punch. I'd be pleased as a passion tea refresher, peach, whatever. I'd be pleased. I'd be happy. That's what I'll say. Affirm kind of falling below the bottom of that range here, so that's not something I'm going to be looking at right now. Just keeping my eyes on Starbucks. Also, I want to address this because I realized I actually forgot to talk about this earlier. I was in a trade for half a second on Uber, and I want to talk about it. So I was looking at Uber because we had Uber earnings yesterday. Then I got an Uber alert, like a random notification on my Apple Watch, like, oh, there's an Uber deal. And I was like, let's look at the Uber stock. Is that a reason to pull up a stock? Maybe not, but I was like, you know, my curiosity's peaked. I did like as well that we were rejecting off the 68 area. And then I fat fingered out of it and I left. So in case anyone was like, why was Adair in Uber for like less than a minute? That is why I was in Uber for less than a minute. So I've had a lot less fat finger since going live. I want to give myself some credit. That was not one of those times. And also, I think the proper area of entry would have been that 68.10 instead of getting involved around 68, which is where I actually got involved. Starbucks, take a couple more pennies of move to the downside. Just asking for a friend. Amazon is going crazy, says Wall Street Network, with a plethora of A's. So Amazon's on the NQ, Adara. Come on now. This is interesting. This is interesting. Amazon's rejecting now off that 190.80 area. Okay, this is spicy. We had that move a couple times earlier. That was around that flat top of 191. I think we're still pretty strong on the day. We're still holding up very well at this base around like 190.60s. I think there is a base, but I don't think that it's one that I will be trading because although I was talking to Shreevan, I might have to get back into my old Meg 7 ways because that's where I'm more comfortable trading. But for right now, we are just in Starbucks and we are trying to get that caffeine to the downside, as I will probably take a sip of my actual caffeine. I saw someone lamenting a meta move, if you will.
It's not triggering my order, Adara, and then it came back like $1 off that level, off where I would have gotten short. So, look, it's not breaking down. We have a very established range on the 5, both on a closing basis and on a wicking basis. On the wicking basis, you can kind of see it's that 473.5 generally that's holding up as support. On a closing basis, it's more around like that 474 that's closing above. And then to the high side, it's kind of the same look, right? 475.50 on a wicking basis, but really 475.25 or a third on a closing basis. So we'll continue to watch, and if we get wicked in, we get wicked in, but there's only 10 minutes left on the show, and I don't want to be nursing this trade while I'm at the big desk. I got to tell you the truth, because Meta's a monster, and Meta can absolutely move. Anybody who's watched Meta the last year and a half knows exactly what it's capable of doing, and so I don't need that smoke. So I'm going to cancel this trade here with 10 minutes left on the show. I want to mention, though, the Amazonian is a little bit looking a little bit weak at these levels now. Amazon had a fantastic day. We can't disparage Amazon in that sense, but now we were talking earlier about how the 10 period was holding up as that key level of support. Now that's no longer happening, and we're making lower lows and lower highs. Not by all that much though, right? So it looks like we're inching our way close to maybe a 190 dip and pop. I mean, that's where the volume weighted average price is. That's where the $10 level is. So we'll keep eyes on 190, but Amazon continuing to head a little bit lower here, and the pops have all been shorted. Now you're also getting the crossover on the 5 between the 10 EMA and the 20 EMA, and now it's about to break down the $0.50, making a newer low. So Amazon in a little bit of trouble here. Keep your eye out on 190. That is a decent area of support, VWAP and the $10 level. AMZN giving it off the top. It was almost 2%, now 1 1/3. So it's really giving back some of those gains. In the exact opposite way that Apple's not. Apple continuing to print near high days. And I sounded crazy when I said 185. And here we go. We're about 27 pennies from printing that 185 area with that beautiful flat top. I ended up getting cut up on that, but we were able to avenge trade Apple later and take it north again. So good look here for the dead one Apple. Let's do a little bit of charting. So we know for a fact that on, what day was this? Today, Tuesday, yeah. Tuesday, we popped into that one, bless you, Neil,
Bless you.
184. You jumped when he sneezed there.
Also, bless you, Neil. I'm just scared by like
I
the
know,
sound of shadows.
I know, but it's
yesterday,
so
Jag
funny.
walked behind me, said hello, and I was like, and he was like, "Are you good?"
He doesn't even know what we're talking about.
But yeah, no, that was a shout out to him. But yeah, that was
Shout out to
pretty
Jag. Okay.
It's my bad.
184.88 was HOD there from Tuesday. Anyway, so I'm expecting resistance at 185, not because, you know, it's a whole dollar level, but because we do have price action resistance around there. So we'll keep eyes on AAPL as it continues to head up. No question about that. Yeah, that's all I have to say about that for now, Adair.
Yeah, this has been like a huge day. And as much as I spent a lot of my screen time today cursing Celsius as a name, I've had some good trades as well, right? Like I think, you know, we did okay on Affirm, we did well in Cake, Roblox, Starbucks, but also, you know what? I think the biggest thing too, and I'm still very down in the day because my losses outnumbered my wins, and that's a huge thing I want to work on. There's probably a couple of reasons for that. Celsius moved with a viciousness and a ferocity that some of my winning stocks didn't. So even though we had those winners, we weren't really able to counteract that, the move we had down there, right? So it's like a couple of different things to think about. But the biggest thing I want to do since going live that I failed to do the last couple of days is making sure my winners outnumber my losers. But you know what? I want to acknowledge it. It's something I want to work on, and I'm always very humbled and happy to be able to learn in front of everybody here and take these L's and try to make more M's. That being said, I'm so proud of what I did with Starbucks. This is the type of trading I need to do. I tried to get that 75.20. Initially, I want 75.11. I realized we're not getting it. I scalpulate out.
Nice.
Adara, do this more often. Sincerely, Adara. So, gonna write that note to myself there. This is the type of trade I really like taking. Quick scalp. Please just punch. I ended up positive on the day on this name because I finally realized what it was respecting. Upstart.
Yeah, I want to bring everybody's attention to Upstart, guys. This is a monster mover on the day, 13.5%. It's done a decent amount of volume, about 6 1/3 million shares. You'll recall that Upstart absolutely tanked off earnings. That was over here. So you'll see that big boy drop there. Now, Upstart has this really bad habit of asking the exchange to halt its stock in the aftermarket so that it doesn't get sold off, only to later watch it get sold off. So I really don't understand why they're doing this, but the fact of the matter is they've done it multiple times now. But this latest move on Upstart, 13.5%, brings us right back into that level that we were at prior to earnings on the 7th, right back into that $25, $26 area. Great recovery here for Upstart, as it, you know, it looked awfully bad on the day that I saw it. Anyway, it had issues with 26. Like, look at the day of earnings and the day prior. It had trouble breaking through 26. Now today, 26 1/3 HOD. This looks like a buy program if I've ever seen one. This is 50-minute looks. Let's look at the 5. I was just looking at the 5. It looked awfully the same. Look at it hugging the 10 period. Any dip into the 10 period off the 5 was bought up today on UPST. Again, an earnings loser from a couple of days ago, but recovering and adding then some, about 32 pennies to the good off the high that it had prior to earnings. Great look here for UPST. I did, bro?
Oh, yeah, sorry. My brain
All good.
turned off there.
4 minutes. We're good.
4 minutes? Okay.
Yep.
But yeah, so cannot believe we only have 4 minutes left to say the word. Shout out to JT
You already know
and
about
Madonna.
that, obviously.
Right now, yeah, I don't have any trades on right now. I traded so many names today. I just realized I traded 9 tickers. Maybe that's
do you
part of the
think?
problem. Got to streamline. Got to find a quick focus. I think part of it too, the reason I was looking at more names is because with the scalping and with the range trading, you want to take these shorter moves. So maybe the issue isn't that I'm looking at so many names. Maybe my issue is I'm looking at the wrong names, or I'm like trying to find things in certain names that aren't there. But regardless of what the issue is, we're going to try to work and learn, because you got to learn every day, build up that strength. Also, I want to show AMC, because I just realized I haven't looked at this one all day. This is an interesting level, the $3 level. We came up here earlier, popped up for a long year, came back, rested a little bit, shoop to the downside. Can we now use it as support? We'll have to wait and see with AMC or as Strafe once christened it, AMP. So let's find out how that AMP is going. Is there anything you're looking at with 3 minutes left in the show?
No, I just want to point out a couple of the Mag 7 levels, Adara. Tesla on the way down, but be cognizant of that 172 support. Most of the prints above that 172 and a third, say half-ish area, but ultimate level today was 172 on the dot, 01s actually. And that takes us, funny enough, you know, you don't really hear me talking about 4:40 a.m. prints. But when they did 14,000 shares at 4:40 a.m., it adds a little more significance to it. Reason I'm mentioning it is it's also 172 on the dot as support. So if Tesla comes into 172, it's only 55 pennies away from there right now. That could be an interesting long on the day, 172 TSLA. Also, the monster NVIDIA has been curling down for some time here. So these two crests at 495, try like 4 months ago, bro. 895 around there. Double top rejection. Look for a neckline break at 887. Right now it's trading at 889, 888-ish. Good look there. You're not going to catch me shorting NVIDIA though on these levels. Let's look at, this is the 5. Let's look at the 10 here. Because, okay, well there it is. See, I wondered why we topped out here. I'm like, what is 897? Well, it's nothing on the 5, and that's why you look for multi-time frame confirmation, and on the 10, it's the 50. So it depends on what the algo is using on that particular day. Is it using the 10 and the 50 or the 5 and the 50? It's incumbent upon you to figure out how it's trading on that day, and that requires you to go through multiple time frames to see, is it respecting any moving averages, any indicators on these time frames? If it is, use it. If it's not, don't. So that's a good look there. Keep your eye out on NVIDIA. It looks like a bit of a sell off the 10, the 50 period on the 10 there.
Yeah, that broke my brain when you were like, oh yeah, a couple of months ago, NVIDIA 495. Time does fly. I can't believe these 3 hours have flown by, but you know what? No. Time flies when you're having fun.
Absolutely.
And trading Celsius to no end. But no, I'm joking. All jokes aside, I had a really fun day. Shout out to Sharif for that awesome Apple trade there.
Appreciate you.
Yeah, Snapple, crackle, pop there for Apple. But yeah, we had a lot of fun. Hope you guys had a great time as well. Cannot wait to see what happens tomorrow, because we will be back tomorrow. A couple seconds left here. Let's look at the House of Mouse, because I know someone was mentioning the House of Mouse there in the chat. Disney, Mickey and Minnie, a little bit of a rough night yesterday. They were a little bit sad after those earnings on Tuesday. But look at this steady move to the upside. This is gorgeous. Bit of a rejection here, struggling at that 105.80 area. We're going to have to see if Disney can become the Magic Kingdom for the longs, because right now looks like a nice bounce. But without further ado, we're going to have to bid adieu. We'll see you tomorrow, same bat time, and the same bat channel. Right now, though, Brendan at the big desk.
See you guys.
Hey guys, yeah, welcome back in. A couple hours left on a pretty busy afternoon here. We have a number of things to touch on as far as what is moving around back in positive territory, which is good to see for the